And finally, we're going up to Loftus Road in the FA Cup third round. Bournemouth away at QPR are available on 103.8 FM, digital radio across the county of Dorset, Freeview Television channel 726, and online today on your smart speaker if you ask it to play BBC Radio Solent Dorset, or if you search for BBC Radio Solent Dorset on the BBC Sounds app. Your commentary team at Loftus Road, John Williams, is with Chris Temple.
Hello, good afternoon. Emirates FA Cup sees Bournemouth enter away at second bottom championship side Queen's Park Rangers, looking to avoid the fate they suffered last season, which was to get knocked out at this stage by a championship team, albeit then a very good one at the top end of the table, rather than QPR, who are going through a bit of a sticky spell, second bottom of the second tier. The headline team news then: 7 changes made by Andoni Iraola ahead of a fortnight's break for the Cherries, barring any replays from this game today, which would have to be slotted in to the week after next before the return to league action. Interesting choice of Mark Travers in goal for reasons we'll go into very shortly. He plays for the Cherries for the first time this season, having been on loan at Stoke, of course, until October. The back four: Max Aarons at right back, Chris Mepham comes in alongside Marcos Senesi, and Marcus Tavernier is going to have to play left back today, with the ongoing left back issues with Kelly, Kirkes and Ouattara all sidelined. Of course, Ouattara would be away with Burkina Faso if he was fit. His participation in AFCON still remains to be seen. Lewis Cook starts alongside Alex Scott. Both have had injury issues recently. Scott out for longer. Cook just missed a couple of games, of course, with a groin problem. Phil Billing will play in the number 10 role. The wide positions: David Brooks and Luis Sinisterra, and Kiefer Moore starts down the middle for the Cherries. Of the available players from the Tottenham game, Neto, Adam Smith and Dom Solanke are left out of the trip completely. The Cherry subs: Radu, Greenwood, Zabani, Kilkenny, Rothwell, Christie, Marcondes back in the matchday setup, Kluivert and young 18-year-old striker Dan Adu-Ajay. I'll get Willow's thoughts on how Joe Rothwell must be feeling, because from the substitutes bench against Spurs in the last league game, all of those who are available start today, apart from Semenyo, who's away. Joe Rothwell, the only one who was a sub at Spurs, who is a sub again today. As for QPR, they've got a few injury issues as well, including Steve Cook, who's got a calf problem, so misses the opportunity to play against the team he captained. Ilias Chair is also injured, as is Chris Willock, so two of their most creative players missing. Goals are a big problem for them. Their top scorer's only got 3. Asmir Begovic, the former Cherries goalkeeper, is between the sticks for them. A back four of Drew, Dunn, Fox and Larkesh. The midfield 3: Dixon Bonner, Field and Dazelle, and then Paul Smith and Lyndon Dykes either side of Sinclair, Armstrong. They've got a pretty thin looking bench with some untested youngsters on it. But let's bring John Williams in. FA Cup third round day, always a cracker, Willow, and today the expectation always all on Bournemouth.
Yes, absolutely. It's FA Cup is, especially in my life, it's been so interesting, so fantastic over the years to play in it, to watch it as a youngster growing up. That was always the biggest day of the year for me. It was only the one game, the Wembley final, of course, and we waited the whole year for it. I don't know how we've done it, but we managed to, because nowadays, of course, you can watch football almost every day of the week. But yeah, always special times, always, and the boys will know, for different reasons. The main one being that the ones out there today playing, we want them to be showing the manager what they can do, what they're capable of. And I think with the team he's picked as well, it's balanced out nicely. And I know that's going to lead me on to Joe Rothwell, who he must be very, very disappointed, because he's the one who come on against Tottenham but doesn't get chosen this time for some reason. So there's always a little bit of heartbreak with the rotation, and today is no different. It'll be exactly the same. One person and one player I'm looking out for today, as we've talked before about the game, Brooksy. He's come on and he's looked really bright every time. Now, can he do it right from the start and push himself back into first team contention?
And a proud day for David Brooks. He is also captaining the Cherries, leading them out of the tunnel today as well, as just jogging towards the centre spot for the pre-match toss-up with his former Cherries teammate Asmir Begovic, who is the captain of QPR. I was just looking down there a minute ago thinking, cool, those QPR numbers on the shirts have got worse than ever. Then I realised that QPR were wearing blue and white hoops, tracksuit tops over the top, so there weren't any numbers. So luckily, I can just about make out some red lines that look like someone's drawn them on with biro. So the two teams going through the pre-match formalities. Rebecca Welch is in charge of this game, who recently became the Premier League's first female referee, taking charge of the Cherries for the very first time, just going through the formalities out in the centre circle. Cherries in their traditional red and black home colours today, striped shirts, black shorts and socks. QPR in the blue and white hoop shirts, white shorts and white socks. I'm not sure about Asmir Begovic's goalkeeping gear, Willow.
No, me neither.
It looks to me like either he's forgotten his shorts, or he's just got into the lost property bin and pulled out three things. He's got a pink top and pink socks,
but his socks are half down.
But a black pair of shorts in the middle. It doesn't look like it's the right kit. I'm sure it is, but whoever designed that, I'm not sure. Anyway, we're standing by for kick-off. Cherries will go from left to right. What a travelling support, by the way, filling both tiers behind the goal away to our left, defended by Mark Travers. We hear it's about 2,800 Cherries fans.
Fantastic. It looks fantastic as well.
And looking around, by the way, there are loads and loads of empty seats. QPR priced this one at £25 on top of season ticket prices. Given their second bottom and having a horrible run, they've got their ticket pricing all wrong, and as a result, the home areas are about 2/3 full. Cherries on the defensive early on down this left-hand side. An early run being made by Lakesh, the Frenchman, playing down the left-hand side, and hammered clear by the Cherries by Chris Mepham, who came through the ranks here at QPR as well before moving across West London to Brentford. Cherries have a couple of former Brentford players in their squad today. Emi Marcondes, the other one, of course, on the substitutes bench. QPR have it on this near left-hand side. Up over the halfway line, looking for Lyndon Dykes, Scotland international teammate of Ryan Christie, of course, who's among the Cherries substitutes today. He definitely deserves a rest. And it's knocked back to the goalkeeper Begovic by Jimmy Dunn, and Begovic clears it away right-footed out towards this near side, where Aarons allows it to pop over his head. And just confirmation of what we told you, Marcus Tavernier is playing at left back for the Cherries. Sinistera on the left and David Brooks on the right. No real surprise there. In it goes to the centre circle, and Phil Billing is tussling with Jimmy Dunn. It's broken loose here, and a chance for Dazelle for QPR. A poor ball across the field, though, was easily read by Marcus Tavernier over on that far side, and it's back to Marcos Senesi on the left of the D.
I don't think that was meant for Senesi. I think it was meant for the goalkeeper.
Sinistera with some quick feet down the left-hand side, and Tavernier galloping on now for the Cherries, at level with the edge of the QPR penalty area. Tavernier's got all the way to the byline. In it comes towards Kiefer Moore with a knockdown, and cleared away from right in front of the goalkeeper there by the stretching centre half. It's eventually picked up by Begovic, but Kiefer Moore was cushioning it back into a dangerous area, and it was cleared away by Rangers.
Yeah, great cross by Tav. I thought he knocked it too far down that left-hand side, but he just managed to get his foot under it. And the big fella, yeah, it was a cushioned header, wasn't it? Couldn't get any power.
Interesting to see if Bournemouth do anything differently today, as QPR just play a slightly risky one back to Asmir Begovic from the goal kick. They've got it tight in their right corner at the moment. Drew up towards the halfway line, who's a relatively untested young right fullback, Aaron Drew, and it's Billing who's got it back for the Cherries, left side of the box. Now Scott to Sinistera, left corner of the area, turning away from his opposite number 17, Andre Dazelle, who got sent off in the last meeting between these two sides a couple of years ago here, which the Cherries won by a Dom Solanke goal. A late skirmish over on the far side saw Dazelle shown red, and Billing has to go back to halfway, and Senesi for the Cherries.
Yeah, I'd just like to see him just a little bit quicker, Phil Bill. The ball's going into him, and then he seems to be taking other people's time on the ball. Move it on very quick, get a quick start.
So same shape for the Cherries, the usual shape you'd expect, of course, with Cook playing it forward to Alex Scott, now trying to knock it through towards Kiefer Moore, hacked away by Dunn from centre half up towards the halfway line for Queen's Park Rangers, where Tavernier has his foot on it, and Senesi will have to go back to Travers with his first touch, all in a luminous yellow, defending the goal away to our left.
Yeah, it's much nicer than the other end, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a horrible kit.
It is.
I'm not a fan. Do you know what I'm saying? It looks like he's lost his shorts.
It really does.
It does.
It looks a little bit scruffy.
QPR pick it up over on the far side. The run being made by Smith down that right-hand side now, going down the right side of the penalty area, but Lewis Cook meets him and knocks it out for a throw-in over on that far side, about 25 yards from the Cherries' goal.
Good bit of skill from Smith. Took two of them out of the game.
QPR 0, Bournemouth 0 in the third round of the FA Cup on BBC Radio Solent. One giant killing already today. Maidstone United of National League South knocking out Stevenage 1-0. In comes the ball to the penalty area. QPR tentatively claiming a foul on Sinclair Armstrong, but it's all the way through for a Cherries goal kick.
Yeah, I don't know, we should have had somebody in front marking there. It's a ball right into the 6-yard box, into his chest to start with. Good job he defended well, Senesi.
No problems for Eddie Howe, by the way, negotiating the Weir Tyne derby. Newcastle 3-0 winners at Sunderland. Millwall 2, Leicester 3, Coventry 6, Oxford 2, and Wimbledon 1, Ipswich 3. The full times from the lunchtime kickoffs. That's the biggest gap, by the way, between teams in terms of league places. Maidstone 69 places below Stevenage, and overcoming that to win by a goal to nil. Gillingham 58 places below Premier League Sheffield United, another one of the big gulfs, and Southampton actually have a 56 place advantage over their opponents Walsall in one of our other live games. Ball is with QPR at the moment in the central third of the field, but Phil Billings pinched it back for the Cherries. Goalless in the 5th minute. Billing out to the left hand side, and Sinisterra makes a lovely run inside his fullback, but a cross goes done and the flag actually goes up belatedly anyway. Nice run by Sinisterra, sneaking behind the fullback, but too early.
Yeah, it was. Brooks had made a similar sort of run on this far side just below us, just steaming into the box, but had to check at the last moment instead of going offside.
So free kick to QPR. Already the floodlights taking a bit of effect here. Sun is shining as well. It's been a bit of a mixed day. There's a little bit of blue sky we can see, but we can barely see the sky because the gantry is hanging down in front of us here as we look from just to the left of the halfway line on the opposite side of the ground to the dugouts and the tunnel. The Cherries fans are away to our left, and they're watching at the moment as Sinclair Armstrong is challenging with Senesi, and Senesi calmly allows that one to go behind for a Cherries goal kick.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tussle between them two. Senesi likes to get nice and tight.
Rolled out to this near side. Mepham finds Max Aarons, who continues to build his way back from that hamstring problem. Came on at left back for a retirer for most of that second half of Spurs, but he'll be, I'm sure, pleased to be back on his natural right hand side today, with Tavernier playing down the left with Sinisterra, who just comes in field away from the challenge of Drew. QPR hold it up and it goes back to Dunn playing on the right of the two centre halves for QPR, just turning into a bit of trouble right corner of his own penalty area. Billing nearly managed to turn it over, and in the end it goes all the way through for a goal kick as Southampton score the first goal in our live games this afternoon at home to Walsall. Southampton 1, Walsall 0. We've also got Newport County against Eastleigh in South Wales as well today. That one, there's only 17 places between those two. Newport down the bottom of League 2 and Eastleigh 11th in the National League. Commentary of that one available on BBC Sounds. And in the league today as well, League 1, Cheltenham against Portsmouth, live on our Hampshire frequencies. 0-0 here between QPR and the Cherries. Up towards the halfway line it goes. Good turn by Sinclair Armstrong away from Marcos Senesi in the centre circle. Out to the left hand side it comes once again. Opportunity for Lakesh running to the left edge of the penalty area. Poor ball in though, and Senesi had recovered his position and bullies it away for the Cherries out to this left hand side.
Yeah, good job he read that, Senesi.
Driving run being made at the moment by Field down this left hand side it is. Sam Field, their combative midfielder, and out of play it goes for a throw into the home side on this left hand side. It's Blackburn 0, Cambridge 1 in the FA Cup as well. There's another team at the moment from a lower division leading a higher division, Cambridge of League 1, Blackburn of the Championship. Down the left hand side with Lakesh once again for the byline. Little pass feet away from Brooks and a dangerous ball into the 6-yard box, which was very well dealt with by Mepham. Volleyed it away for the Cherries. Billing working back right side of his own penalty area. Still QPR have it. Lakesh with another ball into the box, headed away again by Mepham and back to the halfway line.
Great skill, wasn't it? By the little left winger. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, QPR have got some interesting problems themselves in the left back region. Ziad Lakesh is more of an attacking player, but is having to play sort of tuck in on the left hand side himself today with some injury issues as the ball is up towards the halfway line over on the far side. And QPR again wanted a free kick, but Cherries come away with it, and it's back to Alex Scott just left to the centre circle, looking to build on that goal at Spurs. He actually had two, didn't he? The second one was offside. Scored a cracking scissor kick in training, which the club were very quick to put on their social channels this week as well, Alex Scott. And it's now Senesi over on the far side, who will miss the Liverpool League game through suspension, of course, with 5 yellow cards. Cherries at the moment have lost it. Dunn has it for QPR, given away. Alex Scott's the one there trying to pinch it, and nearly ran from him, but Begovic was alert and came sliding out to the edge of the box.
I think he hesitated to start with. I think he couldn't get... He thought he couldn't get to it anyway. He was quite right. But that hesitation at the start of it all wouldn't have helped.
Cherries 31 places above Queen's Park Rangers in the league pyramid. Goalless in the early exchanges here. We played 8.5 minutes, but QPR on the move down this near side. The run being made all of a sudden by Dazelle, who clips it in towards Dykes. Just too high for the Scottish international and goes all the way through for a Cherries goal kick.
Yeah, Dykes was just a bit early with his run there, otherwise it could have been a clear header at goal.
Cherries take the goal kick short on this near side. John Williams alongside us, the former Cherries defender and assistant manager. Is that coming together between Morgan Fox and Kiefer Moore? Wasn't to the Welshman's liking, and it's back to QPR in the centre of midfield with Field. Out to this left-hand side, Larkesh up to the halfway line, held up by Dykes on this occasion. The QPR number 9 having to come deep inside his own half and switches play out towards the Irishman Jimmy Dunn, the former Burnley centre half. And it goes to the far touchline and Drew. Sorry, Willow.
No, I was just going to say they've knocked it around a bit, haven't they? QPR, don't seem to be playing with any fear at all.
Yeah, they do play some possession football. They're set up in a 4-3-3. As we say, their most creative players, Ilias Chair and Chris Willock, not been available. Steve Cook, a linchpin of their defence. Begovic has had a good season by all accounts. He's got the ball at the minute in a tight spot, right side of his own 6-yard box.
I don't remember him being too comfortable with the ball at his feet.
No, not amazing with his feet, I don't remember, unless he's come on a lot at this latter stage of his career. Brooks missed his tackle, and here's Dazelle over the halfway line for QPR. Out to the far left, right-hand side it goes, and Armstrong for the home side in their blue and white hoops against the Cherries in their traditional red and black. Number 7 changes to the league team from across London at Spurs on New Year's Eve. The 4 retaining their places: Senesi, Tavernier, Cook and Sinistera. No Neto, Smith or Solanke in the squad at all today. Rested. I gather the number of the Cherries players will be heading from here just up the road to Heathrow and jetting off for a little bit of sun.
Yeah, let's hope they come back nice and
tanned.
Well, I'm just not injured as my first one.
If you get injured in Dubai on holiday, you've really got to start asking questions, haven't you? Yeah. Over on the far side, Sinclair Armstrong has got it. Level with the edge of the Bournemouth penalty here. Back it goes to Smith, who bounces off one challenge. Dazelle challenges with Scott. It's cleared by the Cherries up towards the halfway line.
Scotty hasn't had a lot of possession at the moment. Quiet start.
No, not too much. QPR working down the left-hand side as Larkesh finds Dykes up against David Brooks. Cross comes the Cherries captain for the day with a good challenge and then a good layoff. And it's back to Mepham playing on the right of the 2 Cherries centre halves. I would go and recommend that interview with Chris Mepham, by the way, up on our Twitter at Solent Sport on BBC Sounds. A long chat with Jordan Clark about his future and where things are at the moment. Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 0 elsewhere in the FA Cup. As the ball is back to the halfway line and David Brooks near right-hand side for the Cherries. 11 minutes played here in West London, just off the A40. QPR 0, Bournemouth 0.
Good work in the box by Mepham. Little munching drag back. I don't know if I would have tried that in my day. No chance.
Centre halves these days, they're so flashy. Out to this right-hand side it comes, and Aarons once more. Little exchange of passes with Brooks, but QPR have got themselves organised, and Cherries at the moment having to go sideways. Out to the left-hand side and Senesi. Sinistera's got Tavernier making a run outside him. Sinistera lost the ball under his feet slightly and actually then has lost the throw-in as well. Some good work on that far side by Drew. Wins QPR the ball just short of halfway.
Haven't really got our wingers in it yet. Both sides of the pitch, which is kind of different.
But it does show you the benefit of consistent selection, doesn't it? I mean, I know we've only played 12 minutes and this team are going to take a bit of time to gel. They've been working as a unit on the training ground, of course, but the Cherries have got it so well drilled into the regular 11, 12, 13 that play, Willow, that some of these partnerships and patterns are just going to take time here.
But that's the thing, your partnerships, they're so important all over the pitch. I've said it for years. Once you've got someone alongside you who can help you out in times of need.
Goes back to Begovic away to our right hand side. The ball is now with Morgan Fox up towards the halfway line, laid off by Dykes but pinched by Scott halfway inside the QPR half of the field. Brooks finds Cook in a little bit of space here, 30 yards out, over to the left hand side. Sinistera running at his fullback, goes round the outside. Tavernier with an early ball into the 6-yard box, headed away by Field for QPR. Back it goes again to Lewis Cook, left corner of the penalty area for the Cherries, and this time it's Paul Smith who's back there to knock it away. Armstrong's got some pace, first time we've seen him stretch his legs, and Senesi nicked in ahead of it and knocked it back to Travers.
Yeah, he has got some pace, Armstrong, but against Senesi, I wouldn't say he was slow, but he's not the quickest.
Irish international Sinclair Armstrong as the ball over the top down the left-hand side, looking for Sinisterra. It is over hit, and out comes Begovic. He played 122 games for the Cherries, left in 2021. Went via
Everton,
of course, eventually, before coming here to QPR, but also with stops at Karabakh and also AC Milan, of course, which is a remarkable move. As the ball is up long from Begovic, going to break out to the right-hand side here, where QPR will get a throw in, I think. Yes, they will, 30 yards from goal. And it's now back with the run made on the right-hand side by Dazelle, right corner of the area, a couple of step-overs. Out to the right-hand side it goes once more, a chance for the cross to come in from Smith, and then Dykes on the penalty spot, shoots for goal. It looked like it was going to be comfortable for Travers, but he just had to shuffle along his goal line, Mark Travers, and in the end just palmed it away with his right hand. It was done safely, but I didn't expect it to cause him as much of a problem as it did.
No, I'm not quite sure we've done enough to try and stop the cross coming in. There's a little clip away from goal, and that's why he couldn't get any power on it. He was going to hit the corner, wasn't he? But he had to do something to get it away.
Yeah, he couldn't just fall on it, Mark Travers. He had to take a couple of steps to make sure it was going to be within his reach, but an early save for Travs. He hasn't played a game, by the way, since his last Stoke appearance was in October. 13 games he played for Stoke. Got recalled. They were very disappointed he got recalled. Again, if you weren't with us at the top of the programme, Stoke yesterday signed Daniel Everson on loan from Leicester. We'll come back to that in a second. Here's Alex Scott down the right-hand side for the Cherries. Early ball in towards Kiefer Moore with a looping header, and it goes wide of the post. So the Mark Travers situation, you can only play for two teams in one season. He's now played for Stoke at Bournemouth, which means he can't go anywhere except Stoke if he was to go out on loan again. And of course they've just signed Daniel Everson. So they've changed their manager since Travers was there as well. Alex Neil was there. Stephen Schumacher is now there. So it just looks like, Willow, they're going to keep Travers to compete with Neto, which is a shame for Mark Travers if he doesn't get in the team.
Well, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but we have to be a bit selfish sometimes.
Oh, given away by Lewis Cook. He was caught in possession, then it looked like Cook maybe dragged back the QPR player, but it progresses still to Armstrong, 25 yards from goal, out to this left-hand side. Here's Larkesh, left side of the penalty area, low ball in towards the penalty spot. Alex Scott got back there, ahead of Dazelle to clear it away. They've still got it. Larkesh left side of the box, in that comes into the 6-yard box and caught easily by Travers.
Larkesh has come up quite well at the moment. One or two things down this left-hand side. He's got some good crosses in, quite like him.
Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 1. The Premier League side going front at Priestfield, and Stoke 1, Brighton 0. Talking of Stoke, no problems for them so far today, leading Albion by a goal to 0. 16 gone here, 0-0 between QPR and the Cherries at Loftus Road on BBC Radio Solent. Here's Billing in the centre circle for the Cherries, trying to get away from Field, and Field just pulls back his shirt, and Rebecca Welch has a look at that. Sam Field is one of those who collects those kind of bookings. He's got 8 yellows this season, make that 9. He's got 9 yellow cards this season. In fact, no, sorry, it's not for Sam Field. The yellow was out for Phil Billing for waving the imaginary yellow.
Oh,
that's what's happened there.
I didn't see him do that. I seen him stop and look at the referee, but yeah, strange.
Yeah, Phil Billing clearly felt that was an attack-stopping booking from Sam Field, and I think he's probably right. Field had hold of his shirt. You could quite clearly see.
I didn't see him do the card trick.
Well, neither did I, but we're a long way away. And referee Welsh was right on the spot and gives Billing the yellow instead. Short free kick taken to Brooks, diving header away from the penalty spot for QPR by Dunn. Breaks out to the right-hand side where Smith is deep inside his own half and knocks it out of play off Tavernier. And it's a QPR throw-in approaching halfway, which they take quickly to Armstrong. Down that right-hand side, Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1 elsewhere. Armstrong right side of the box up against Mepham. And well, Dykes was arriving in the penalty area, but not quick enough for Armstrong to get his head up, and he just hammers it into the stand for a goal kick.
He got that throw into his feet far too easy. Meps is just having words with Senesi as he walked past. Mind you, it's Tav on that side. I think he'd gone on a little wander. That's why there was so much space there.
Sinclair Armstrong, by the way, who is big, quick, strong, mobile, athletic striker, but he's only got 1 goal in 22 games. Plymouth 1, Sutton 0 is another FA Cup update. We're going to keep them firing at you as much as we can in terms of the storylines of the FA Cup this afternoon. Nothing on the board here so far. 0-0 between QPR and the Cherries. Martí Cifuentes, by the way, the Catalan manager of QPR, is only a couple of weeks younger than Andoni Iraola. One from the Basque Country, Iraola, one from Catalonia. Cifuentes, who took his club in Sweden to the Swedish Cup final. Has some cup pedigree as the Cherries play a long diagonal ball out over the head of Sinistera for a throw-in inside the QPR half on the far side.
Yeah, wouldn't say it's been one of our... I know the group of players have just come together and it's difficult, but we haven't clicked at all. Maybe once or twice, but no passing sequences really, what we're used to.
Yeah, 7 changes for the Cherries, just at the moment taking a while to settle as the Cherries pick up a free kick close to the halfway line for a handball decision there by Rebecca Welch. We should mention, by the way, Wendy Toms, who, as we've got Rebecca Welch, a female official here. Wendy Toms, who's from Broadstone in Dorset, was the first ever female to officiate in the Premier League. She was a lines person back in the late 90s. Rebecca Welch, of course, the first female to referee a Premier League game. As we see Billing down the left-hand side now. Left corner of the penalty area for the Cherries. Sinistera goes ahead of him. Billing breaks into the box himself. Still coming. Look, try to play a little ball to Tavernier, but it wouldn't just run on the right side for Billing. He was trying to get it on his left-hand side, and QPR were able to clear it up to halfway. And then a nice little run by Dixon Bonner, and he cannons it against Scott, and good work by Tavernier to get back there, having been part of the attack. And it's now back to Aarons on this near right hand side.
Yeah, even Aarons, I haven't seen him have a bit of a run yet. Usually bombs up and down. Not today.
Not at the moment. We're in the 20th minute on BBC Radio Solent and BBC Sounds today. It's Hull 0, Birmingham 1 elsewhere in the Cup. 0-0 here between QPR, second bottom of the Championship, and the Cherries 12th in the Premier League. Sinistera and Billing play a 1-2, and Billing with a left-footed shot just past the right-hand post from Phil Billing. Lovely link-up between Sinistera and Billing. It beat Begovic, but it was also the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, that's more like it. That's the sort of play we're used to. Fast football. Sinistera, as you say, little 1-2 with Phil Bill. I think it was just about a foot past, wasn't it?
Yeah, we don't have the benefit of any replays today. We don't have a monitor. It's not a Championship requirement for media that you have to have a monitor with replays on like it is in the Premier League. No VAR today, by the way, worth pointing that out as well, because we're at a non-Premier League ground, so there is no VAR. So whatever happens on the field stays on the field. As Brooks on this near right-hand side. Now it races for Scott. Scott down the right side. He was tugged back there. Claims that he was pulled back. The referee and the assistant give a goal kick. I mean, the assistant referee was right there to see Alex Scott have his left arm just tugged back in that move, but didn't manage to spot anything. And Phil Billing is just having a word with the referee now.
Yeah, Scotty is too. Don't think she could have seen it, otherwise she would have given it.
Well, she's got to rely on her assistant there, who's 5 yards away.
He's got to help her out, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing doing from the officials on that occasion. It remains 0-0. The assistant referee on this near side is a team of Premier League assistants. Stuart Burt on the far side and Dan Cook running the line on this near side, both of whom are Premier League and FIFA lines people, so should be capable of spotting someone get pulled back 5 yards away. QPR have a free throw-in rather down this near side. 21 and a half gone. 0-0 here. Saints leading Walsall 1-0 in the Cup. Cheltenham 0, Portsmouth 0 in the league. And Newport Eastleigh also goalless in the third round of the Cup as well. National League Southside Maidstone already through today, beating Stevenage of League One by a goal to nil. A lunchtime kick-off as Tavernier tangles with Smith over on the right-hand side. Again, nothing doing from the officials this time. And it's brought away by Senesi out towards this near right-hand side.
Yeah, there's lots of safe passes going on. Looking to step it up quite a bit.
Well, I remember the games earlier in the season in the League Cup when, of course, Bournemouth had their first team in the Premier League hadn't clicked to this extent they have now, but the game at Swansea was a bit sticky, wasn't it? Yeah. Stoke first half was particularly poor, I remember, in playing Championship opposition in Cups earlier in the season, but won both those games eventually, but maybe didn't quite turn in the performance people were hoping. And Alex Scott turns back and just knocks it straight out of play down underneath us. QPR throw.
That's what I mean by being a bit scrappy. Somebody needs to get hold of this game and by the scruff of the neck and start a bit of leadership.
Field hooks it into Dykes, 25 yards out for QPR here under real pressure from Aarons, who did very well to divert Dykes further and further away from the penalty area. Out to the far side it goes, quick feet from Smith off the touchline, and then Sinistera has a little tug back at him, and that's a free kick to QPR a few yards outside the penalty area, right corner. And QPR will get an opportunity to put a ball into the box here. Foul by Sinistera.
Yeah, it's a dangerous little spot. The referee, she didn't see that at the other end, did she?
Blackburn 1, Cambridge 1. Cambridge have levelled up there. And QPR have a free kick here, which left-footed. Dykes has gone across to get involved in here. It's going to be one of those that whips in towards the goalkeeper.
Yeah, they aim for the far post and hope somebody can clip it.
Dazelle standing over it with his left foot. And also Smith is there as well. So we've played 23.5 minutes in the FA Cup third round here at Loftus Road. Set piece opportunity for QPR from just outside the right corner of the penalty area. The angle looks right for Andre Dazelle with his left foot. Mark Travers in the Cherries goal, keeps a watchful eye. Hasn't got to watch that too closely. It goes sailing yards over the crossbar.
That's what we like to see. Should have done better, to be fair. Edge of the box. Been looking to get it on target at least.
Ball is back with Mepham on this near side. And it's now Travers, the Cherries goalkeeper. He's had a pretty quiet one save he's made. A comfortable save from a low header by Lyndon Dykes. As the Cherries come out over on the left-hand side with Sinistera, who ran into some blue and white hooped traffic. And it's now picked up over on that far side by Drew, breaking out from right back over on that far side, scooting past Lewis Cook, who sticks with him. Good pace this from Aaron Drew, the fullback, low ball in towards Armstrong. Mepham on the 6-yard line clears it away for the Cherries.
He did well, Meps, controlled it with a nice cushion. It was dangerous because you don't know who's behind yet. Took a risk really, but got away with it.
Well, that applause there, and the run was for, or the reception was for Aaron Drew as he made his way back from that excellent run forward. Cherries have got it over on the far side and they've lost it on halfway. And then Lewis Cook clips Elijah Dixon-Bonner. Lewis Cook's pleading his innocence to referee Welch, but that will be a free kick to QPR right at the centre circle.
Dixon-Bonner, yeah, just saw what went down there. I'm not quite sure. There was a foul again. The referee just getting involved with one or two things.
It's been a Blackburn 1, Cambridge 2. Cambridge back in front in that game. There are 4 games at 5:30 today, by the way, as well. The third round is spread all over the place, isn't it? From that absolute stinker on Thursday night between Crystal Palace and Everton, Willow, which even you as a Toffo will agree was a stinking game.
Yeah.
Ball is with Senesi. Cherries have got a problem here with with Alex Scott down, just taking a whack in the face. I'll get him in a minute. It's Chris Mepham actually, as he eventually turns around so I can see the back of his shirt, holding his head. Chris Mepham is down, just getting back to his feet, having taken a slight whack on the nose.
We're not winning the aerial battle for sure. I've noticed Meps and Senesi got bullied a couple of times.
Yeah, they're up against Armstrong, who's going to win a few headers, but Dykes, of course, is a 6-footer as well, useful in the air. He's just playing more to the left of the front three, Lyndon Dykes, with Armstrong down the middle and Smith over to the right. As forward comes Mepham, who seems to be fine. 0-0, 26 gone. BBC Radio Solent and BBC Sounds. Aarons right at the centre circle for the Cherries, trying to switch the attack over to the left-hand side via Senesi, who lofts one down the left-hand side looking for Sinistera, headed away by Drew, picked up by Billing, just slightly behind Sinistera, who just flicked his heel out trying to gather the ball from behind him, and QPR are back in possession.
If it had come off, it'd have been spectacular.
Billing nearly managed to win it back over in that far right corner as we look, and then cleared away down that right side by QPR, but cut out by Senesi, and Bournemouth have it with Tavernier now, restricted in his left back role, so less of an attacking impact today, but he's trying to get involved going forward where he can, and he started this attack, which has now progressed with the Aarons right hand side, and he cannons it against the blue and white shirt, and now a play for a throw. No, it stayed in actually. No, it did go out.
Yeah, surely. I thought it hit the notice board and come back out.
There's not a lot of room down there. There's about a metre or so, I would say, between the white line of the touch line and the front of the stand down there. It is a very, very tight ground, this one, but you've played here, Willow. It's the stands are very steep as well. The Cherries fans in the upper tier, the front row of the upper tier, they're nearly on top of the crossbar.
Yeah, it's the pitch itself, it's the same size as Dean Court. Yeah.
They've left the grass a little bit longer, I noticed, when we were walking it around earlier on, Willow, as well.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, that classic chestnut. They do like to play QPR, so not Cowfield longer, but just a little bit longer. Here's Scott down this right-hand side, looking to play Brooks in, who hasn't really managed to get in the game, the Cherries captain today. So far down this right side, and QPR bringing it away on this near touchline with Larkesh. Little 1-2 up to halfway where Mepham and Armstrong are having a grappling match, but Armstrong breaks away with the ball. His teammate gets out of his way, and then as a result of that, I think just put off by his teammate, Armstrong put it behind Smith and out for a throw.
Yeah, Alex Scott's another one who's looking a bit rusty. Giving 1 or 2 passes away.
Well, I guess any of those who played a significant part against Spurs, and I know Scott came on as a late substitute or late-ish substitute in that game at Spurs, shouldn't be looking too rusty. Lewis Cook travels forward over the halfway line, finds Brooks, but nothing ahead of him. And again, it's played into Scott. Here's some room for him. It just ran away from his first touch, and he was dispossessed by Jimmy Dunn, and then cleared away down this left-hand side by Field. And here's Armstrong. He's isolated Mepham at the moment. The run made by Dixon Bonner at the back post. Armstrong down the left side of the 6-yard box. That's a good low save by Mark Travers, because Armstrong's first touch got him away from Mepham. A low shot with the left foot, but Travers covered the post.
Excellent work by Travers. Just done enough to keep it out. Mep's just done enough to put him off as he was trying to take the shot.
QPR on the defensive at the moment. The Cherries over on that far side with Lewis Sinistera. Watford 0, Chesterfield 1. Sinistera breaking into the penalty all the way to the byline, comes back to Billing, and he sticks out a boot, and it's off target under pressure from 2 or 3 blue and white shirts that were closing on him, and it was well wide in the end from Phil Billing.
Yeah, it was a great run though, wasn't it? Was it Sinistera or?
Sinistera's run initially, yeah.
It was a great run to the byline, and the QPR lads says, no, he's okay, he's got up now.
0-0.
We need to. That's what we need to see more of that, please. Both sides of the pitch. It's been a pretty, let's say, slow performance.
Well, I think it does show you already. I'll come back to that in a second, because Bournemouth have managed to win the ball back from QPR's goal kick. Down the right side of the box it goes. How many times have we mentioned Kiefer Moore in open play so far? Hardly at all. I'm going to say, if you take Dom Solanke and what he adds to this team out, it shows that Bournemouth are struggling at the moment, attacking-wise, to put things together. Sinistera now with Tavernier on the overlap. Tavernier's ball to the back post. Kiefer Moore stretching. It will only have been a cushion header back across goal, but he just couldn't get there. And now QPR break out with Lakesh.
Yeah, he was nowhere near that one, Kiefer. Right over his head.
Ball on this near side. It's a throw into the Cherries.
QPR throwing that.
Both teams are claiming for it. There was about 7 hands in the air there from shirts of both colours, red and black and blue and white, and the assistant pointing in Bournemouth's favour. Moore holds it up. Now right corner of the box, Scott and Cook. And Brooks was in there as well. Then Moore is dispossessed by Field, and it goes back to Begovic in his pink and black attire away to our right, in front of what is a 2/3 full stand behind him of home supporters. Absolutely full away to our left of red and black in the 2-tiered away end, currently which the Cherries are attacking away from. 0-0 here. Southampton still leading 1-0 at home to Walsall. Newport and Eastleigh is 0-0 in the Cup. Cheltenham Pompey is 0-0. Brooks into the edge of the box for the Cherries and Scott, but again they're playing it around. And again, what you haven't got is you just haven't got Kiefer Moore making those channel runs. Dom Solanke making those channel runs, if you to give people an outlet.
It's a different way of playing. You can see, and the boys aren't quite.
Tavernier's left-sided crosses over everybody. It will be picked up by Aarons on this right-hand side of the penalty area for the Cherries. He's got Brooks, who really wants it. He was clapping Aarons, saying, give me the ball. Aarons' ball in was a good delivery. Moore couldn't get there. It was headed away by Dunn, and then it's going to run out of play off Brooks, and it'll be a QPR throw.
Well, Aarons thought, I've had enough of this, I'm going to go myself. Great cross in, right across the face of goal.
A conversation going on between David Brooks and Max Aarons. Nothing in it apart from Brooksy basically saying, I thought you could have given me the ball there, Max. Or words to that effect. Brooks cuts it out for the Cherries now. There's some room for Alex Scott to turn into if he wanted to, but very quickly that room was closed down by Dazelle, and now it's Senesi left of the centre circle as Bournemouth move from left to right. Over on the far left-hand side, Tavernier playing at left-back. Can't find Sinistera, and it's with Dixon Bonner trying to bring it away, who's one of the first choice QPR midfield in recent matches, keeping his place today. Just 3 changes made by the QPR boss Marty Cifuentes today as QPR turn the ball over in the central third, and Bournemouth have it back on that far touchline.
Yeah, good work by Senesi, just nipping the bud there, start of a QPR attack.
Lewis Cook just having to drop in at centre half for a second there as Max Aarons found himself in a central position. Lewis Cook on the right side of the fence just filling in. And out it goes to the left-hand side, and Tavernier, who Bournemouth are trying to get forward, helping the attacks down that left-hand side. Here he is interchanging with Billing. Tavernier back to Billing. Ball from the byline towards Moore. Glances off ahead, comes back to Aarons. Thought about putting his foot through it. Instead finds Scott in the D. Left-footed shot from Alex Scott, deflected and goes wide for a corner on the right-hand side.
Yeah, another bit of an encouragement. down the left-hand side this time. Couldn't quite get the ball out of his feet. Blocked anyway and out for the corner, Scott.
I'll make this the first corner of the game. We played 33 and a half minutes. 0-0 between QPR and the Cherries. You're live with BBC Radio Solent. Marcus Tavernier just making his way down towards that corner, which is where some of the safe standing section of Loftus Road is, which of course is topical for Cherries fans this week, because that's coming in at the Vitality in the North Stand in time for the Man City game next month.
I'd rather stand up watching the game.
The ball is with Tavernier on this right hand side for this corner. Lots of movement in the 6-yard box. Moore is at the back post, being very closely guarded, let's just say, as it's swung in by Tavernier, looking for Senesi. QPR get the head on it. They've got a player down as well here as the Cherries clear the ball, and it's out of play on the far side, but the whistle I think had already gone for that knock for a QPR player.
I think it's a head, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, we have no replay, so I can't see what happened there exactly, but there is Lyndon Dykes, I think it is, who's getting back to his feet. And a free kick or a drop ball, sorry, it's Field. Field and Dykes, Willow, are impossible to tell apart because they're both wearing long sleeve shirts, they've both got white boots, they're both the same height, they've both got the same colour hair, and we can't read their numbers. So if they're facing on the far side or something, Dykes and Field are causing me a nightmare today.
He's got a...
And by the way, they're wearing 8 and 9, so even the numbers when you can see them aren't that easily distinguishable.
Dykes has got a freckle on his left cheek.
Thank you for that. As usual, you're extreme help in these circumstances. 10 minutes to go in this first half on BBC Radio Solent. It would really help me if in the second half Field or Dykes could get taken off. Mepham over on that left hand side for the Cherries. Senesi, far touchline it goes. Tavernier along the touchline, along the halfway line I should say, towards us. Senesi has it. There's no pace at the moment to the game. There's no movement in the Cherries front ranks, and at the moment you can take Ryan Christie and some of his movement out of the midfield area. Lewis Cook and Scott, of course, are a fine pair. Christie's been one of the most effectual, I guess, pivots for that midfield. Here's a chance for Alex Scott, though, to open something up to Sinistera as the Cherries do work a bit of space. Sinistera chops onto his right foot edge of the area and then went for goal. I'm not sure it was the right choice by Sinistera, because the more he cut back, the more he was running into trouble. Yeah,
I was leaning back when he tried to swing the shot away, but it's that left-hand side that's our favourite. Any good work that has happened 3 or 4 times has come down the left.
Remember, 7 changes for the Cherries today, and of the substitutes who are available from the Tottenham game in the league, they're all into the team apart from Rothwell, who was among the subs. The 4 who kept their places were Senesi, Tavernier, Cook and Sinistera. If you weren't with us at the top of the kick-off or top of the programme at 2, QPR have got a throw in at the moment, right over in that far corner, which is they're not in a particular hurry to take. There hasn't really been that many incidents in the game. There hasn't been loads of free kicks. It's been 1 or 2 little sort of tetchy pullbacks and things, but there hasn't really been that much actually happened.
I think we're approaching, it's been not the most exciting game.
No, it hasn't been a sort of magic of the cup tie, is it, at the moment, as a flag goes up against the Cherries just outside the penalty area. So when you've got a QPR team who haven't been playing that well and a second bottom in the Championship, 3 points off the bottom, they've been in the bottom 3 since September, so the mood here is pretty low, having changed Gareth Ainsworth for Marty Cifuentes, and you change the number of the Cherries players that they have today, as Blackburn are back to 2-2 against Cambridge. See, that sounds an entertaining game at Ewood Park. Blackburn-Cambridge. We haven't got one here.
We need a goal desperately.
Yeah, a goal would be nice.
Red and black.
So it remains 0-0. We're live.
It's difficult for our fans just to get behind us as well. Not been a lot to cheer, has
No, and particularly when the team's kicking away from the end where they are as well. I'm sure that will change second half with Bournemouth attacking more. Bournemouth have had more of the attacking possession and territory, of course, but not a lot of fluidity and sharpness around the QPR penalty area. The ball's bouncing around in the central third at the minute. They try to release Armstrong again over on that right hand side, who's looked a dangerous outlet for QPR. Armstrong right side of the penalty area, coming across the top of the box, and again his decision making with 4 up with him, he just drags a tame shot straight at Mark Travers.
Yeah, they've done us a favour there, Armstrong. If he'd have kept hold of it and picked out one of his teammates, I think he'd have been better off at least.
7 minutes till half time on BBC Radio Solent. Chris Mepham on this near right hand side. Earlier win for Newcastle, wins for Ipswich as well. Cherries have got it at the moment. Billing into the penalty area, Billing onto his right foot, but was quickly closed down by Dunn. It runs loose to this near side. Aarons will pick it up 30 yards out, swings the ball in. Moore's coming in, but Begovic, the goalkeeper, comes out and claims it ahead of him.
Yeah, good work by Begovic. Seen him do that a few times. Takes the pressure off of the two centre halves immensely.
It's a shame not to see Steve Cook out there today. I know he is at the game today, Steve Cook. I know he's had to go in for some treatment this morning. So he's the cover star on the programme today. Steve Cook as well, as the ball down this left-hand side for QPR, looking for the run of Larkesh. Across comes Dykes. Mepham is there tangling with him, and Bournemouth have got the ball back on the edge of their own penalty area. Yeah,
very carefully done by Meps. Cool head.
Out to the right-hand side looking for Brooks, but this time Aarons and Brooks break down. Sees Aarons play a ball in behind the fullback, but Brooks haven't made that run, and it goes out for a throw.
I'm not sure there was too much wrong with the pass. I just don't think Brooksy and him were on the same wavelength.
No, and again, they won't have played together hardly, will they, at all? Maybe for a few minutes here and there, because Aarons has been injured and Brooks has been mainly restricted to the bench since Aarons' arrival. Down this right-hand side, Armstrong again. This time he's up against Senesi, and he holds off Senesi, and Armstrong into the penalty area, and Sinclair Armstrong has given QPR the lead. We noted his threat. This time he just held off Marcos Senesi with ease and rolled the ball into the bottom right-hand corner. And 5 minutes before half-time, QPR not going well in the league, but they're going well in the cup. They're one up.
Well, Senesi got done completely for pace there. It's happened on the other side of the pitch as well. It's a bit of a mismatch with him and Armstrong. Great first touch, just took him across the front of Senesi. Then he's in on goal, and a great finish through the goalkeeper's legs.
Well, we said earlier, 1 goal in 22 for Sinclair Armstrong before this. if you needed an improvement in your goals, it used to be a thing. If you needed to improve your goal scoring record, play against Bournemouth. Armstrong, I think, has actually hurt himself, Willow, as he went to do a knee slide. And he did one of those where you slide but you jar your knee into the turf, and I think he's just gingerly got back to his feet. Either way, that's a very disappointing goal for the Cherries to concede there.
Too easy, wasn't it?
Very easy.
Just one ball over the top.
And a comfortable finish. Again, we get one look at it live, so hard to look and see if there's anything more Mark Travers could have done. He said the Bournemouth fans behind that goal hadn't had a lot to cheer, well, even less so now. 4 minutes to go until half-time.
No, they found it difficult, as have we.
Phil Billing.
A lot to talk about. So,
Cherries have gone for the little flick up and boot it forward kick-off this time from Lewis Cook, who looks for more. Headed away by Dunn, just over the halfway line. Tavernier is there. Challenges with Smith. Tavernier wins it, gets back to his feet. Tries to go around the outside of the challenge of Elijah Bonnet, and it comes from the cross from Tavernier, and out comes Begovic, who got a hand on it, batted it down, and then rolls it out to Larkesh on this near side, who just checks because there was nothing in blue and white ahead of him. And now Field plays it for Dykes down this left-hand side. Dykes has got some room here, and Aarons wants some help, and Dykes is into the penalty area here. QPR on the crest of a wave, and they've gone 2 up. As Lyndon Dykes' right-footed shot deflected off Max Aarons, it took it down into the ground, it looped up over Mark Travers, and all of a sudden, in the space of a couple of minutes, the Cherries Emirates FA Cup campaign is already hanging by a thread.
Well, just before half-time as well, not the best news that you can go in the changing room with. And Dolio, I'm sure, will be very annoyed with the way we've defended both goals. Could have been avoided. But that's the way it sometimes happens, both down the right-hand side as well.
Well, that is as 2 minute spells go, that's a really bad one. Goes without saying. There was an element of fortune about that one because the shot from Dykes, Aarons in his efforts to block it, stuck his leg out, hit him into the ground, spun up over Travers, who was helpless, and into the right-hand side of the goal. And it goes back to the Cherries goalkeeper. And Bournemouth are going to have to come from a long way back here.
Yes, they are.
Scott miscontrols it inside the QPR half of the field. Poor from Alex Scott. Billing on the prowl, wins it back. Can the Cherries immediately fight back here? Billing into the penalty area, holds it up. Joining is Brooks, just inside the box. 4 blue and white shirts in front of him. Aarons goes in with a challenge. It bounces off Larkesh, and then off Aarons again. And it's a QPR throw-in. And down around us, You can tell they haven't had a lot to cheer this season, Willow, because they've won a throw-in, and you think they just won the FA Cup.
Yeah, and it's 2-0 to them, and that's a problem for us. I think he's going to have to make a lot of changes at half-time. Some lads haven't performed.
It's been quite a few. I know a few need minutes, and again, that's the context that in these games, if people aren't getting regular minutes in the league, that you come into these games, they're undercooked, and there's definitely a few out there, 2 or 3, that have not come to the party today at all. Kiefer Moore has been nearly anonymous. David Brooks has had a very, very quiet game, and the 2 goals they've conceded will be so disappointing. They've just come from balls down the left-hand side. As it's Aaron's challenging with Dykes there, Aaron's took a bit of a whack, and it's a free kick on this near side to the Cherries inside their own half.
Yeah, I think he knew what he was doing, Aaron's. Just got there a little bit late.
Well, who'd have thought we'd be saying that the Cherries would need half-time to come against the team second bottom in the Championship.
Be desperate for it, yeah.
2-0 down, 45th minute. Here comes Tavernier over on that left-hand side. He runs into trouble this time, and it goes back to Begovic, who will currently be very much enjoying this, the former Cherries goalkeeper. And then Dixon Bonner plays it down the right-hand side, looking for Armstrong again, and it's all the way through to Travers, left corner of his penalty area. Cherries bench, I nearly was going to read it out a moment ago. So outfield subs: Zabani, Greenwood, Rothwell, Kilkenny, Christie, Marcondes, Clivert and Adu Ajay, along with goalkeeper Radu. Those are the subs available. Remember, Neto, Smith and Solanke all left out, rested from the squad completely today. Ball down this right-hand side, Semenyo, just in case you hadn't realised, has gone off to AFCON with Garner. Ball on this near side with Brooks, 25 yards out for the Cherries. Drives it across the top of the box to find Tavernier over on that left-hand side. Just seconds left in the half, plus whatever referee Welsh has asked to be added on, as Brooks makes a run inside left, out on that far side, lays it back. The shot right-footed from Tavernier is straight at Begovic, so we've just begun 3 minutes of added time.
Yeah, quite ironic, the cheer there. I think, is that the second shot Begovic has had to save? Not enough.
Yeah, hardly anything. Billing flashing a shot wide earlier on was the other notable chance I've written down for the Cherries. Mark Travers had made a couple of saves, but then saw the ball twice in the space of a couple of minutes. Beat him. Sinclair Armstrong and Lyndon Dykes, who will get the credit, I think, for that second goal, because his effort was going on target before the deflection off Aarons.
Yeah, it was a bit fortunate, wasn't it? Just clipped up.
Billing over on the far side of the left. As we said, 31 places between these two sides at the moment. One previous FA Cup meeting was won 2-0 by QPR.
1967.
Which was in 1967. Thank you, John. 1967. There you go. Ironically, that year, the previous season, Cherries had been knocked out by Burnley in the third round. Same as last season, before playing QPR again in the FA Cup. At the moment, the Cherries are getting knocked out by Championship opposition again for the second season in a row, unless they can find a big second half performance here, as Cook lofts one into the box, breaks to Sinisterra. Now Alex Scott, and he blasts it over the bar from a good position. Alex Scott on his stronger left foot, about 10 yards out, opened up some space for him and couldn't keep the finish down.
Well, it goes far as to say that's a really good chance. I thought he was going to have another touch. Actually, the first touch went well, but the shot itself, nowhere near.
Way off, wasn't it? Yeah, so far off that actually I wondered if it had been deflected at first, but it hadn't. It was a goal kick. So we've played nearly 2 of the added 3 minutes at the end of the half. Who would you bring on at half time? Let us know on Twitter at Solent Sport, or you can WhatsApp us 08000 321 333. Is Ryan Christie going to have to come on and try and get a grip on this game? Put Clivert on up top and be playing more of the kind of role that Dom Solanke would play instead of the Kiefer Moore kind of role. Here's Armstrong down the left-hand side, giving Senesi more problems down by the corner flag on this near side. Then Armstrong gave it away. Brooks can't keep it in. I'm going to say, well, they're going to have to put Clivert on up top, or somebody else is a number 9, aren't they?
They're going to make some changes. They've got to try and win the game, otherwise what's the point?
Ball is on this left-hand side with QPR at the moment. 30 seconds remaining in the half. Armstrong has it for QPR down by the corner flag. Little back heel. He tried to cannon it off Aarons and out for a throw-in, but Brooks then with some calm play, and that's a late challenge on Aarons, who did well to stay on his feet there, because he could easily have thrown himself to the ground. And a long diagonal towards Sinisterra, just caught Drew under the ball for a second, and then Drew recovers well. Having initially looked vulnerable and exposed, Drew managed to get his bearings right, as Blackburn are now 3-2 up on Cambridge. What a game. Long ball down the far right hand side, looking for Dykes, is overhit. And that will nearly be half time as Mepham knocks it back to Travers.
Yeah, a lot of thinking to do, Andoni.
And that is half-time. So Andoni Iraola's thinking and messages will have to be transmitted to those Cherries players. 7 changes made to the starting 11 from the Spurs game on New Year's Eve. And just in the space of a couple of minutes, they found this tie a long, long way away from them. It had been pretty even up until that point, but a brilliant run by Sinclair Armstrong down the left-hand side, holding off with his strength and power the Cherries defenders, and then slung it low past Mark Travers into the bottom right-hand corner. An element of fortune about the second, while QPR were on the crest of a wave. Just a couple of minutes later, Lyndon Dykes' shot inside the penalty area, cannoning off Max Aarons, taking it over the helpless Mark Travers. But Bournemouth have been restricted really to shots from distance. Asmir Begovic hasn't been tested, and there's got to be some sort of change of idea there, Willow, in the second half, personnel-wise.
Yeah, not just ideas, but like as you say, he's got to put some different people on. There's 1 or 2 of them out there that don't look like they can raise a leg. I don't know why it is. There's been some down the left-hand side. There's been 2 or 3 opportunities that we've invented, but the other side of the pitch, apart from Aaron's going through once right at the end, has not been much at all. But there'll be plenty of words said in that changing room, and I'm sure some changes as well.
Well, Clivert and Christie, you would say, will be the 2 obvious ones that Andoni Iraola will be looking to have more of an attacking impact on the game. Your verdict at Solent Sport on Twitter, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. But the Cherries at the moment in danger of heading out of the Cup. They're 2-0 behind at QPR.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Your headlines at half-time on Solent Sport. Bournemouth heading for a shock exit in the FA Cup, currently down
this right-hand side, Armstrong again. This time he's up against Senesi, and he holds off Senesi, and Armstrong into the penalty area, and Sinclair Armstrong has given QPR the lead. We noted his threats. This time he just held off Marcos Senesi with ease and rolled the ball into the bottom right-hand corner. And 5 minutes before half-time, QPR not going well in the league, but they're going well in the Cup. They're 1 up. And now Field plays it for Dykes down this left-hand side. Dykes has got some room here, and Aarons wants some help. And Dykes is into the penalty area here. QPR on the crest of a wave, and they've gone 2 up. As Lyndon Dykes' right-footed shot deflected off Max Aarons, it took it down into the ground, it looped up over Mark Travers, and all of a sudden, in the space of a couple of minutes, the Cherries Emirates FA Cup campaign is already hanging by a thread.
Surely some changes on the way at half-time, Bournemouth fans. They've struggled, haven't they, against the Championship teams this season. The League Cup as well, they had to make changes at the break. Who are you bringing on? Chris Temple says Clivert, surely up front for keeper Moore. What about you at Solent Sport on social media, please? 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make Solent the first word. 81333 on the text. Start those with Solent too. Saints fans, let's hear from you as well after this first half. It's St Mary's against Walsall.
But the Saints go through, and there is the goal, and Ryan Fraser's come off the left-hand side, and he scored early. He's been scoring off the bench. Now he's got his start, and he's scored again. We said both wingers had started well. Fraser's latched onto the ball near the penalty area. Well put, good pass into him. He's got there, and he's slotted it home, and it's 1-0 Saints, and that's the perfect start when you're the side who've got it all to lose in the FA Cup third round.
Pretty comfortable, in control so far at St Mary's for Southampton. What about in Wales then? Eastleigh away at Newport, looking to cause an upset, looking to get themselves into the 4th round for the first time. They're going to have to do it the hard way. They're down to 10 men at the break.
Now Langston makes the foul 10 yards away from the box, and Langston has already been booked, so he might be in trouble here. Appeals for him to be sent off from the home supporters. The referee's looking at the linesman, saying, what shall I do? Which is a concern. Oh, I think he's going to go off here. He's off. It's a red card. Langston's received a red card. And that is the end of his afternoon. And that makes the task for Eastleigh a whole lot more difficult now against League 2 opposition, because they've got to play another 55 minutes with 10 men.
That's a big blow for the Spitfires, but still goalless, still in the game. Stranger things have happened. Also goalless in our League One commentary for you. Pompey away at Cheltenham. Have your say on the first half, Pompey fans, at Solent Sport on Twitter, please. Where'd you find the breakthrough? 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make Solent the first word. 81333 on the text. Again, starting your message with the word Solent. Coming up during the half-time break, We'll run you through these scores from elsewhere across the country, and of course our non-league sides too. This is the home of live sport across the south.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
BBC Sounds has a brand new area dedicated to the south. From local stories to sport, news to stuff you've just not discovered yet. Sign in to your BBC account to access it all. You never know what you might uncover. Get more sounds from the south. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Jordan Clark.
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Show coming to you live from St Mary's today, with Saints 1-0 up over League Two side Walsall at half-time in the third round of the FA Cup. We'll get you back to all four of our games as soon as the players are back out for the second half. Let's do some score lines from our non-league sides this afternoon. We'll start in National League South. No game for Havant Waterlooville today, and we should say all the best to Trevor Brock as well, long-serving Havant Waterlooville secretary, announcing, I think it was yesterday, may have been the day before, that he'll be standing down from the role. So we wish Trevor all the best. Weymouth are playing today. They are 1-1 away at Tonbridge Angels. Jordan Greenidge gave Tonbridge Angels the lead. Tom Bearwish with the equaliser for Bobby Wilkinson's side, that coming just before the half-time whistle. Drop into the Southern League Premier Division. Couple of games for you and a couple of postponements. AFC Tottenham and Sholing, so two of our sides going head-to-head. They are 0-0 at half-time. And from the other game, who else we got in action? Dorchester Town today. They are at home to Hungerford Town. I'll try and get you a scoreline from that one in a moment. Not coming up on my latest scorelines from the Southern League website, and of course the two postponed: Gosport against Poole Town due to electrical troubles at Privet Park caused by the heavy rain. So for health and safety reasons, that game not going ahead. And Plymouth Parkway's pitch still waterlogged, so no game for Winchester City there this afternoon. Let's see if we can drop into Division 1 of the Southern League. We've got a couple of teams in action there. Bashley and Wimborne both playing. Bashley are 2-1 down at half-time. They're at home to Melksham Town. Connor Whiteley's got the goal for Bashley. Better news for Wimborne Town away at Exmouth Town. Jack Lovell and Harry Morgan on target to give them a 2-1 lead. We're 2-0 up. Aaron Denny has got a goal back for Exmouth. And Horndean are in action in the Isthmian League Division 1 Southwest today. They are 1-0 up at half-time. They are in action against Erithon Belvedere today. So 1-0 lead for Horndean at half-time. Good result for them so far. We'll keep you across all those scorelines as the afternoon wears on. Let's dip into the rest of the half-time scores, and we'll come to some of your messages in a moment as well. Please keep them coming in at Solent Sport on social media. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Make Solent the first word if you're getting in touch on WhatsApp. Do the same please if you're texting us on 81333. Lots of FA Cup ties today, some of them played earlier on, 5 in total. Ipswich are through to the fourth round, 3-1 win for them away at AFC Wimbledon. Coventry are through, huge 6-2 win over Oxford United. Brilliant goal in there for Palmer as well. If you get the chance to watch that back on the highlights, they're up actually and available now on the BBC Sport website. That was the Coventry third in that game. Cracking strike from the edge of the box. Couple of goals in there for Gooden as well. What else do we have earlier on? Big upset in terms of National League. Maidstone going through, beaten League 1 Stevenage 1-0. Steve Evans won't be happy, will he? He wasn't happy at Fratton Park on New Year's Day. He won't be happy today with his side crashing out of the FA Cup 1-0 against Maidstone. Leicester are through. Difficult game for the Championship leaders. 3-2 in the end away at Millwall. Millwall coming back into that one late on. And in the Tyne-Wear derby at the Stadium of Light, Newcastle went through, 3-0 winners away at Sunderland. Not a great day for Dan Ballard, who scored an own goal to open the scoring for Newcastle, then gave away a penalty late on as well. There was also 2 for Isak, one of them from the penalty spot, to give Newcastle that 3-0 lead. In terms of the games at half-time in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Blackburn 3-2 up on Cambridge. It's Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 2, Hull 0, Birmingham 1, Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1. Plymouth are 1-0 up on Sutton. QPR 2, Bournemouth 0 you know about already. You also know about Newport 0, Eastleigh 0 and Saints 1, Walsall 0. Our live commentary games for you today. Stoke and Brighton 1-1 at half-time. The Championship side holding the Premier League side. And Chesterfield, Paul Cook's Chesterfield of the National League, 1-0 up away at Championship. Watford upset on the cards there too. Coming for you at 5:30, Chelsea and Preston, Middlesbrough against Aston Villa, Sheffield Wednesday against Cardiff, and Swansea against Morecambe. The FA Cup ties for you tomorrow, loads of them. Luton, Bolton, Man City, Huddersfield, Nottingham Forest, Blackpool, Peterborough, Leeds, Shrewsbury, Wrexham, West Brom, Aldershot, West Ham, Bristol City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United go to Wigan on Monday. We've also got the results in from yesterday as well. Fulham through already to the fourth round with a 1-0 lead over Rotherham. Tottenham through with a 1-0 win over Burnley. Brentford and Wolves drew 1-1, so they'll face a replay. Same with Crystal Palace and Everton after that boring 0-0 on Thursday night. Right, let's drop into League One then. The early game finishing Fleetwood 1, Derby 3. Derby going well at the moment. Burton 0, Wickham 0, Exeter 0, Carlisle 0. And it's Port Vale 1, Charlton 1. The rest of those all half times at 3 o'clock, along with our Cheltenham 0, Pompey 0. In League 2, the early game finished Harrogate 3, Doncaster Rovers 1. We've got Barrow 0, Tranmere 0 at half time in the 3 o'clock games. Bradford City 0, Crawley 1. Mansfield 0, Crewe 1. Salford 1, Forest Green Rovers 1. And Swindon 2, Colchester 1. That brings you up to speed with all of the latest scorelines from the FA Cup and the Football League. National League very quickly. Altrincham 2, Barnet 0, Dorking 0, Oldham 1, Ebbsfleet 1, Wealdstone 0, Hartlepool 0, Oxford 0, Oxford City that is, Maidenhead 0, Bromley 0, Rochdale 0, Kidderminster 0, Solihull Moors 1, Woking 0, Southend 1, FC Halifax 0. Let's come to a few of your messages at a half-time break. Harry in touch. Harry, a Pompey fan, wants White off. Passenger, he says, in this Pompey team. Let's get Sadie or Devlin on in the number 10 position. We talk about him every week near enough, don't we? Now he's still yet to really ignite his Pompey career. We talked about it, Harry, in the build-up with Guy Whittingham and Andy Moon. Sounds like he's not having the best of games again. Hello to Ken, Cherries fan, says, we have a shock in recent history in the cup competitions, losing to Wigan, Millwall, Burton and Boreham Wood. We never take it seriously enough. I don't understand it. We have a break coming up, so why not play your full strength team? It's an interesting point, Ken. I mean, he didn't make total changes, did he, Andoni Iraola, but enough. And those players who you think would be coming into the Bournemouth side with a big point to prove failed to do so far. Had Chris saying just before the half-time break, Kiefer Moore pretty much not in the game. David Brooks not taking his opportunity so far this afternoon. Will be interesting to see who comes back out for Bournemouth in the second half. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, he made big changes, or he made changes at half-time, early changes in the League Cup games, didn't he, particularly away at Swansea and at the Stoke game as well, off the top of my head, which then did get Bournemouth back in the game. They're going to need to do that today, 2-0 down away at QPR. Pompey Peanut, hello to you, says a question for you all. Does the referee get to watch back any decisions or replays of his first half performance during the half-time break? Or do they just grab an orange and continue to fill in a Specsavers form? I've got no idea. Andy Moon may know the answer to that question, but I'm going to guess probably not. Who else have we got in touch on the WhatsApp? Hello to Stet, says 9 changes against Walsall. Everyone needs to step up, and this should be a tidy home FA Cup win today. So far, it has been standing. Thank you for that message. I think he came in just before the start of the game. Alan, the Cherries fans listening in from Chepstow, sent his message in on WhatsApp to 08000 321 333. Says, poor first half for Bournemouth. What are they doing? Yeah, I can't answer that one either, Alan. Hopefully you'll get better in the second half. And hello also to Denise. And happy 60th birthday to you. That message coming in a few moments ago. Denise, I think you're a big Pompey fan. That is with love from Andy, Niall and Casey. So more than happy to read that out for you. I hope you enjoy your birthday. Hopefully Pompey can find a goal and the 3 points for you in the second half. No name on this one, just says hardly a shock if the Cherries lose, given their recent record in the FA Cup. Yeah, and usually Chris Temple dips out of those games and I'm the one left to commentate on them, so quite grateful that he's decided to stick around and go to Loftus Road today. But still time for Bournemouth to turn it around. Starting to get players back out, so we're going to take you to all of our commentary games now. Let's go first of all to Rodney Parade. Eastleigh 0-0, but down to 10 men away at Newport County. It's on the BBC Sport website and app. Second half with Cliff Pledge and Ian Wilding. Right, next we are going to St Mary's. Southampton 1-0 up against Walsall in the FA Cup. It's on BBC Sounds, your smart speaker if you ask to play BBC Radio and 96.1 FM with Joe Tessam and Adam Blackmore. And we're going up to Wadham Road next. Pompey 0-0 away at Cheltenham in League One. Hans DAB, Freeview 722. It's with Guy Whittingham and Andy Moon. And finally to Loftus Road. Bournemouth 2-0 down away at QPR in the FA Cup. BBC Sounds on in Dorset. Smart speaker on BBC Radio Solent Dorset. 103.8 FM, digital radio in the county of Dorset and Freeview 726. Your commentary team, John Williams and Chris Temple.
Thank you very much, Clarkie. We bring you news of substitutions for the Cherries. Not a massive surprise to see Andoni Iraola having to turn to some of his regulars, as Asmir Begovic, just jogging away to our left, gets a warm round of applause to the Cherry supporters behind what will be his goal in the second half. Ryan Christie and Justin Clivert are both on, and off have gone Chris Mepham and David Brooks after that first half. And it looks, the way they're lining up, Willow, like Lewis Cook is lining up at centre half.
Or could be three at the back, all out attack, it looks like.
Well, it does look that way. So Moore has stayed on. He's a bit lucky to stay on, in my opinion. Christie has come on. Clivert is there, so it looks like Clivert is going to play down the right, and Ryan Christie is going to play in that more central role alongside Alex Scott. And that is the third game in a row, Willow, or third cup game this season, I should say, including the games against Swansea and Stoke in the League Cup, where Andoni Iraola has had to turn to his bench at half-time against lower league opposition after a poor first half, and that was a poor first half from the Cherries.
Yeah, it definitely was. Lots of people that are out there now can count themselves fortunate.
Yeah, you can only make a certain number of changes, can't you? Our manager say I'd have taken them all off if you could. Well, maybe that would have been a bit harsh. So Ryan Christie almost over to the right-hand side, in fact, and Justin Clivert has gone out wide on the right. So Christie almost the right of the central area at the moment. And Lewis Cook looks like he's playing centre-half, Willow. He stayed in there.
Yeah, he has.
Tavernier down the left-hand side for the Cherries there, looking to claw their way back from 2-0 down here. 2 goals in the final minutes of the half for QPR from Sinclair Armstrong and from Lyndon Dykes. Cherries red and black stripes, black shorts and socks, right to left towards the end where their nearly 3,000 travelling fans are, across 2 tiers as Sinistera tried to win it on the edge of the penalty area. Senesi out to this near side. And back it goes to Alex Scott, and now Aarons over on that right-hand side. Here's the first chance for Clivert to get involved. Off that right-hand side, direct to the edge of the penalty. A little 1-2 with his fellow sub Christie, who just flicked it round the corner. But across came the challenge of Morgan Fox to clear it away up over halfway.
Yeah, it was a neat piece of work, wasn't it? Nicely controlled, went for the old 1-2, didn't quite get the ball back.
I tell you what, it's not a good pat on the back for Chris Mepham, is it, when you get taken off at half-time, replaced by a midfielder at centre-back, unless he's injured. The ball is with Sinistera, but didn't look like he was injured, did he? Ball on the left-hand side. Tavernier for the Cherries now, attacking with early purpose in this second half. Cleared away by the hoops. Out to Alex Scott, 30 yards out. Little ball into Christie. Billing tried to help it on. Field was there for Rangers, who are in blue and white hoop shirts, white shorts and socks. Our officials in a luminous yellow tops today. Rebecca Welch is the official in the middle, the first female referee in the Premier League. No VAR, remember, involved today as well, because this isn't a Premier League ground. That's a debate in itself as to whether there should be any VAR in the FA Cup if it's not available for all ties to create a level playing field. But no VAR involved in this game today. 2-0 to QPR. Senesi down the left-hand side. Here's Tavernier once again. Sinistera, left side of the penalty area. All of this is right down tight to this left touchline. We are just to the left of the halfway line as we look from the back of the Stanley Bowl stand here. Nicely worked to Sinistera, left side of the penalty area for the Cherries. Sinistera, left side of the 6-yard box. He's cut back a couple of times. He wins a corner off Aaron Drew on this near side.
Well, that's more like it again. Quick passing, quick feet, and he wins as a quick corner.
We'll give you the team lineups in full very shortly. You're with us on BBC Radio Solent and BBC Sounds here at Loftus Road in West London as the Boscombe back of the net chant rings out from behind that goal away to our left. It's a short corner to Billing, flick back to the penalty spot, driven by Tavernier, and Bournemouth straight back in the game after those half-time substitutions. 3 minutes into the second period, rifled home by the left foot of Marcus Tavernier. It's QPR 2, Bournemouth 1.
Well, it was an excellent set play that's got us back into this game. I have to say, QPR have not been out of their half this half, so that just shows what a good talking to, I think, in the changing room he had at half-time.
Well, the crowd behind that goal chanted Boscombe back of the net, and Boscombe then put the ball in the back of the net. So if it was as easy as that, good finish from Tavernier, running onto the edge of the penalty area. We've seen him sky a couple of those opportunities in the past. He had a lot of crowd to get through there, didn't he? But he found the bottom corner.
I think he got a little deflection on the way through as well. A little clip off someone, but we'll take it.
You're right, though. It was a well-worked corner from the training ground along the byline and then back to the runner on the edge of the penalty area. Moore was buffeted there by Morgan Fox. I'll give you the teams in full very shortly. The ball's gone out of play on that far side. So the Cherries now have Travers in goal. The back four is Aarons. Lewis Cook is playing alongside Senesi as a centre-half, and Tavernier at left-back. So that is a somewhat patched-up back four with two attacking players in the back four, to say the least.
Very much so.
The midfield, Scott alongside Christie. And then you've got Sinistera on the left, Cliver on the right, and Billing just behind Moore. The Cherries' remaining subs are Radu, Zabani, Greenwood, Rothwell, Kilkenny, Marcondes, and Adu Ajay. I'll give you QPR in a second in their blue and white hoops. Down underneath us. In fact, the ball's gone back into the Cherries' half. They have Begovic in goal, Drew, Dunn, Fox, and Larkesh the back four, Dixon, Bonner, Field, and Dazelle, and then Smith and Dykes either side of Armstrong. Armstrong and Dykes, the two QPR goal scorers for a place in round 4, this, which comes up at the end of the month, the last weekend of January, the 4th round of this competition. As the play ball in the left-hand side from Sinistera, looking for Sinistera, picked up by Billing on this near touchline. Billing turns away from Smith. Billing to the left corner of the area. Cherries on a move here. Billing to the left-hand side of the box. Low cross cleared by Dunn. Tavernier, the goal scorer for the Cherries, trying to keep it in play, which he's done. Brilliant from Tavernier. Then he was clipped. Referee Welsh says no. Says that Tavernier just lost his footing, and Bournemouth get a throw in instead. Back it comes down the line to Senesi. Infield to Alex Scott. Halfway inside the QPR half of the field. Cherries, I can see already a bit more pace and vigour and verve about the way they're moving the ball. Clivett over on that right hand side for the Cherries. Clivett checks onto his left. He's got Christie for company. Clivett chopping back 2 or 3 times. In it comes towards Moore. It's behind him. Cleared away by QPR. Picked up by Aarons. And now back to Senesi. Lovely little threaded ball looking through to Billing. It was powerfully struck, and Billing did well to get it under his control. He works it to the left-hand side of the penalty area in Sinistera. Sinistera to the byline, overruns it, and it goes behind for a goal kick. 6 minutes gone in the second half. It's Cheltenham 0, Portsmouth 1. That's a league game in League One. Live with us, John Williams.
Yeah, that was much more positive right from the start. Senesi just helping the boys along with. I'm really intrigued with the Cookie playing at centre half. It's like he's just produced something out of nothing here. How could we possibly see that one coming? Obviously, maybe they worked on it, and it's let's see. I mean, we're not back in, still in the tie yet, but we're working towards it.
The cheers there were from the Cherries fans as Phil Billing charged down a QPR clearance. And let's face it, I mean, Bournemouth needed something early in that second half just to lift the whole occasion, because they were so flat in the first half. Yeah,
it was. The crowd didn't have nothing to get that behind the boys with, but it's all a bit different now. The game's hotted up.
So 3rd goal of the season for Marcus Tavernier. And this near Sutton, he was part of the Middlesbrough team who had a great run in the Cup, a couple of giant killings, including over Spurs. Marcus Tavernier out towards the far side. Of course, Cherries have lost to lower league opposition in the last 2 seasons. Boreham Wood and Burnley. Still 2-1 behind to lower league opposition here, and it's Armstrong on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Cheltenham have quickly levelled against Portsmouth 1-1 as the ball comes into the Cherries penalty area, headed away by Senesi, and Christie jumps, and Lewis Cook there, and some nice feet by Scott on the edge of his own penalty area, and he was impeded, and it'll be a free kick to the Cherries in their own half. So just to confirm, Cheltenham 1, Portsmouth 1, and Eastleigh have fallen behind Richard Hill's Eastleigh away at League 2 side Newport. 1-0 to Newport. That one is in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, and live with us on BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. Here, QPR 2, Bournemouth 1. 2 half-time changes from Andoni Iraola, putting Christian Kluivert on for Mepham and Brooks, with Lewis Cook dropping into centre-half for this second half. Tavernier had scored, and the Cherries have got it, with Lewis Cook now stepping out from centre-half and getting the Cherries moving forward down the left with Tavernier. Centre-half to left-back, and now Billing to the byline. He runs into the challenge on this near side. It's good defensive work by Field, who'd followed his man all the way into the box, and hammered out a play by QPR for a throw-in.
The Lewis Cook stepping out from the defence, I can understand fully. But, well, it's a calculated gamble, and we're at 2-0, it probably looks a sensible thing to do.
The other thing, of course, is you've taken off some height, haven't you? Set plays. Taken off Mepham, and you've got Cook in there now. Christian Kluivert you've put on, you're not gaining any height there.
Well, it's a gamble, isn't it?
Down the left-hand side, Tavernier for the Cherries again. Tavernier is playing most of this second half almost as a left winger from left back. Tavernier along the top of the box. He's just forced away from the QPR goal for a moment, so he enlists the help of Senesi. 9 minutes gone in the second period nearly at Loftus Road. 2-1, Cherries are behind. Lovely little link up almost between Billing and Moore, but it didn't quite break back off Moore. Here's Sinistera, left side of the penalty area once again. Sinistera up against Drew, trying to show him on the outside. Billing has it, back it goes to Sinistera, but it was fired back at the Colombian, and he couldn't get it under control. And Portsmouth, who led, have very quickly seen that lead disappear. They're now 2-1 behind at Cheltenham.
He's 12 yards out there, Phil Bill, and he's fired a rocket pass. I think he can swing that at goal. He can fire away. I mean, it could hit. I mean, I've got an injury here.
The worst thing it will do for Phil Billy, it might take a nick off someone, mightn't it, if he does that and go in. Yeah.
The old ricochet.
We've got a stoppage here. Sinclair Armstrong is sat down in the centre circle. I mentioned earlier on that when he did that knee slide, he jarred straight into the turf. There was no slide about it. It was like a knee drop into the turf. And I don't know if he hurt himself as a result of that. He didn't look too bad, but obviously that goal only 5 minutes before half time, and he's just requiring some attention here in the centre circle. And not a bad moment, let's be honest, for QPR to break the game up here, because they've been on the back foot in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all before. You can't put that one past us. We learnt from the one in charge about that. Breaking the game up.
Sorry, Willow. Sutton have equalised at Plymouth in the Cup, 1-1 there. So while we've got this stoppage, in fact, Brighton have scored and turned it around in their game now. Stoke 1, Brighton 2, up at the Bet 365. So let's quickly run you down while we've got this stoppage, how things stand in the 3 o'clocks early in the second half. Blackburn 3, Cambridge 2, Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 2, Hull 0, Birmingham 1, Newport 1, Eastleigh. We've only got 10 men, by the way, in that game. Eastleigh have had George Langston sent off in the first half there, so that's going to be a tall order playing the rest of that with 10. Norwich, Bristol Rovers 1 each, as is Plymouth, Sutton. Southampton 1 up on Walsall, Stoke 1, Brighton 2, and Watford 0, Chesterfield 1. So that is the Championship at the moment, behind to the National League at Vicarage Road there. 5:30 games are Chelsea, Preston, Middlesbrough, Villa, Sheffield Wednesday, Cardiff, and the big one that they'll all be tuning in for, Swansea, Morecambe. So Armstrong's okay. QPR have got a goal kick. Begovic is about to restart play. The Cherries fans are helping him from behind.
Everybody in one half of the pitch.
QPR 2, Cherries 1. Moore on the halfway line holds it up and finds Ryan Christie over on that right hand side. Christie with some quick feet, and he actually wins a free kick there. He was held up, and that was a kicking the ball away incident there from Morgan Fox, and the referee's not happy. He's had a rolling ball. I mean, Morgan Fox quite clearly backheeled the ball away, and that wasn't spotted by the officials.
Yeah, I think it was just rolling though, maybe just about to die, but I think it was moving.
Scott in the centre circle for the Cherries, out on this near side. The left, Scott moving towards the left corner of the area, feeds it to the touchline and Tavernier. Back in field to Sinistera for Bournemouth. Now Billing, back out it goes to Tavernier again. Infield to Sinistera, little triangle around the left side of the box, beautifully worked. Tavernier lays it back, Sinistera's shot, beaten away by Begovic, and then beaten away again by Begovic from Tavernier's shot. Big shot for handball. It's a Cherries corner. Well, the goalkeeper there twice. I think the frame of the goal involved as well. Maybe a defender, but Sinistera and Tavernier both had a crack and were both denied.
Oh, they were hot shots as well. They really got hold of them. Keeper did magnificent. Twice, I think.
Well, there was a crowd of bodies on the left-hand side throwing themselves. Begovic definitely made a good save with the first one. What the second one came off wasn't clear, but Bournemouth have got a corner on this left-hand side, trailing 2-1. It's going to be Alex Scott with the corner. In front of the two-tiered away in, into the near post and into the back of the net. Off the glancing head of Kiefer Moore. Scott's corner, Moore jumped, took a touch off somebody and ended up at 2-2, and Bournemouth, with 13 minutes gone in the second half, have wiped out the Rangers' advantage.
Well, they're both from the training ground, both goals this half. Kiefer, it's all about the delivery, of course, and Scotty does that, misses the first man out on the near post. Kiefer tries to get across the front of the goalkeeper and does, and just a glance into the empty net. Back in the game.
So, game on. A new cup tie that's 32 minutes long, John Williams.
Yeah.
But Bournemouth have been given a head start and have got a tailwind behind them.
Well, it's, you know, the whole of this half so far.
Free kick to QPR over on that far side, meanwhile, for a foul by Lewis Cook, and a yellow card for Lewis Cook from Rebecca Welch.
The big question is, we've just got back ourselves into the game. Make sure we concentrate from this free kick.
So QPR free kick out on the left hand side. QPR, I can see, have now prepared 2 substitutes of their own to come on over on that far touchline as a result of the shipping of the 2-goal lead. They lost a lead late on here to Sheffield Wednesday, losing 2-1 when they were 1 up late on, which many people sort of point to the start of their downward spiral recently. And they had a good lead here and have seen that disappear very quickly. So we've had 4 goals in 18 minutes either side of the half-time interval. QPR free kick from the left-hand side into the penalty spot. The heads go up. Senesi clears it away for the Cherries. Alex Scott stayed down, but gingerly getting back to his feet. Now Tavernier trying to break out again down this left-hand side, but can't quite keep it in play. And it's a throw into QPR down underneath us.
It was a great header from Senesi. Really important. Lots of pace on the ball in. Managed to get a little flick on it to the edge of the area.
So Moore will get. Do you think Kiefer Moore definitely got the touch on that goal, Willow? It's hard to see, wasn't it? Oh, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Yeah,
he didn't celebrate much.
That's what made me doubt it, actually, that he didn't really particularly celebrate, and they ran towards Alex Scott because he jumped with defenders. There's a foul there by Dykes on Scott inside the QPR half of the field. It was sort of jumping at the near post with defenders. It sort of glanced off the top of someone's head, but you're exactly right, the same as me, Willow. I watched Kiefer Moore's celebration. It wasn't the celebration of a man who just scored, but stand to be corrected on that one. Here come the changes for QPR. They're taking off Aaron Drew, the right back, who I have to say, they targeted him in the first half. There was a lot down that side. He did quite well in the first half, and in the second half he's found it very difficult. He's going off, and Paul Smith is also going off. They're bringing on Osman Kakai, and they're bringing on Albert Adoma. Osman Kakai, the Sierra Leonean, and also Albert Adoma on as well. So Kakai on at right back, and Adoma is going to come and play on the right hand side.
We always think when they do that, and because a winger's tortured one, I always think the next fella coming on, he's going to get the same.
Well, we're 61 minutes in. It's QPR 2, Bournemouth 2 on BBC Radio Solent, and Alex Scott works it out to the right hand side, and then Christie knocks it down the line, and here goes Clivert, right side of the penalty area. Tried to put the cross in first time. It was closed down by Morgan Fox and brought away by Field over on that far side, and they win a throw in. QPR level the edge of their own penalty area. So Bournemouth are due a 2-week break after this game. If there was to be a replay, as it stands at the moment, that would slot in before the Liverpool League game, so they'd basically lose a few days of their break, the Cherries, and obviously lose some preparation time for Liverpool, and then have a game to fit in just before that, which would be irritating to say the least. But of course, most importantly, they want to stay in the competition, so do it however you can, I suppose.
Whatever it takes.
Travers away to our right in the Cherries goal, who's been a virtual spectator in the 17 minutes of this second half. Mark Travers, having not had too much to do in the first half, and then suddenly found 2 goals going in past him. 2-2 in the FA Cup. Tavernier, left-hand side for the Cherries. In it goes looking for Sinisterra. It wasn't a great ball by Tavernier, but actually the defender Dunn came across when he might have left it to his keeper and puts it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, lack of communication there, no doubt about that. I think we've got him rattled.
Throw-in taken by Tavernier to Senesi as the Cherries try and test this new right-sided defensive line with Osman Kakai coming on. Here's Christie, right corner of the penalty area for the Cherries, just outside the box. Christie still has it. He's twisting and turning and quick feet, but actually not really moving anywhere. He's still in the same square yard of turf, as Tavernier was quicker than the substitute Adoma there to get in and pick that up.
It's a bit of a tricky ball.
Tavernier again looking for Christie inside right. Across comes Fox with the challenge, and then cleared up to halfway, where Armstrong seems to be okay after that knee problem, and Bournemouth back in possession. Scott on this near side. 2-2 at Loftus Road on BBC Radio Solent. And Scott driving infield away from Adoma. Two former Bristol City players together there in contest. Out to the right hand side. Kluivert. Right side of the box. The Dutchman tries to get a cross in, checks back a couple of times, still hasn't released it. Defender slipped. Cherries fans enjoyed that as Kluivert weaved him into a web. And still he has it, Kluivert, over on the left hand side. Cherries fans are relaying. It's only 2-2, not 7-2. Kluivert still has it. Keeping possession here. This is a lot of passes. Senesi out to the left-hand side. Some room here for Sinistera once again now. Two QPR defenders up against him. Sinistera draws the challenge from Kekai, and behind it goes for a Cherries corner on the left.
Yeah, good work by Sinistera again. Really attacking-minded, really trying to get the ball across the face of goal. Now, another corner. Scott's on it again. And we produce a hat-trick of set plays.
A very short ball boy down there with a pink bib on was standing very patiently holding the ball out for Alex Scott as he made his way across there. So they scored from the last corner, the Cherries. What can they deliver from this one? Alex Scott again from the right hand side, same target towards the near post, and it was a really important defensive header away and behind for another corner.
Oh, that was well worked again, just a little bit higher. Plenty of people running in on that near post.
2-2. Alex Scott's delivery has been excellent. In comes another one. This one is deeper. Round the back, there's a Cherries player on the ground, and it's eventually headed back across the face of goal and straight into the hands of Begovic.
Yeah, it went to the other post this time. Didn't quite come off.
Plymouth have restored their lead in the cup at home to Sutton by 2-1. And Southampton are 2 up on Walsall now as well. St Mary's. QPR have played a short one out, and they've played themselves into a real tight spot here down the right side of their own penalty area. Kekai on as a substitute clears it away, and actually they've worked it pretty well. It's going to go out of play for a throw-in, but from the spot they were in, conceding a throw-in on the halfway line wasn't a bad result.
I don't know how they got out with that. It was practically on the corner flag.
Well, QPR were knocked out by Fleetwood in round 3 last season. As I mentioned briefly earlier on, the Cherries, of course, have exited at the hands of Burnley and Boreham Wood in the last 2 seasons. Of course, the year before that, so frustratingly, in the quarter-final stage, 1 round from Wembley to Southampton, when Southampton were playing badly and Bournemouth had a real good chance and just didn't show up at all for that quarter-final. Tavernier down the left-hand side, trying to find the run of Sinistera, but across comes Dunn to clear, up towards halfway, where Elijah Dixon-Bonner, the former Liverpool Academy player, runs it out of play, and it'll be a throw into the Cherries underneath us. 2-2, 24 minutes left. Blackburn 4, Cambridge 2. It's a basketball game there by the sound of it at Ewood Park, as the ball is over on that far right hand side with the Cherries. The half-time sub Kluivert plays a little 1-2 and tries to get on again down the left hand side. Kluivert up against Lakesh, who knocks it out for a throw in near the corner flag.
He's had one or two little runs, Kluivert. Pretty good.
Great impact sub, isn't he, to have coming on, just the energy he brings. That's a lovely ball round the back, looking for Sinistera with the header down, and it just wouldn't quite come down for him, and the defender Kekai managed to put him off, and it back to Begovic.
Yeah, I think, it was dying on him, the ball. I thought he could have chested and volleyed, perhaps. I'm not sure if there's enough pace on the ball to get him in there.
We know Andoni Irola's cup pedigree as well. He was twice a Copa del Rey semi-finalist, once with Mirandes and once with Rayo Vallecano in the 2 or 3 seasons before moving to Bournemouth. As a manager, by the way, he's had 13 cup draws, 10 of them away from home. Andoni Iraola. The ball is in the centre of midfield at the moment. Free kick given for a foul there on Kluivert, clipped by Sam Field. And Bournemouth have a free kick right of centre, halfway inside the Cherries, the QPR half of the field, which is taken quickly by Scott, with QPR napping. Ball into the penalty, looking for more, headed away by Fox, runs loose to the left corner of the area. Sinistera for the Cherries, couple of step overs, went for goal at the near post, tried to catch Begovic out, and it grazed the outside of the side netting wide.
Yeah, unlucky there. Sinistera, I thought he was going for the other post. I think he was going for the other post, but it just didn't finish that way. Sometimes happens when it comes off the side of your boot.
We've got exactly a quarter of this Emirates FA Cup third round tie to play. It's Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 2 on BBC Radio Solent. Armstrong and Dykes in 3 minutes before half time for Rangers, but Bournemouth starting the second half perfectly with Tavernier and we think Kiefer Moore getting the credit for the equaliser. We're not sure exactly who it came off, we haven't seen a replay, but we'll give it to Kiefer Moore for now. A glancing header from Alex Scott's corner, and Cherries with a free kick for an offside decision. Stoke 2, Brighton 2. Stoke have come back there, having led and then fallen behind. So Brighton definitely won't want to replay the amount of football they've played this season. And Southampton look like they're safely in round 4. They lead Walsall by 3-0. That's St Mary's. And Cheltenham 2, Portsmouth 1, Newport 1, 10-man Eastleigh 0. Reaction to all of those games after 5. With us here on BBC Radio Solent. Here's Senesi feeding Tavernier down the left side of the penalty area. Now it's with Sinistera out on the touchline. Back to Tavernier, into Billing, little ball back to Tavernier, wide left, scorer of the Cherries' first goal. Tavernier's cross, this time Moore running onto it, and again he just took his eye off it, I think, didn't make a particularly good connection, and it trickles through to Begovic.
Well, again, that was a, you know, when I see the ball that low, that's a diving header for me. Just to propel yourself so you can get enough power to get it past the keeper. Brilliant.
Billing with the shoulder to shoulder leaves the defender on the deck. He's got it left side of the penalty area. Billing, numbers arriving at the back post, and Justin Cliver puts Bournemouth in front. Phil Billing, brilliant bit of physical strength on the left hand side, left a QPR defender face down on the turf, rolled it across the 6-yard line. Cliver arriving at pace and tapping it home. It's Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 3.
Well, what a magnificent comeback that is. A substitution, is it? Coming on? No, it's just Cookie having a drink, but fantastic work by Phil Bill. Waited and waited and waited till he could find Clive, who made a great run. It was a real powerful ball across the face of the goal, and a simple tap in for Clive. Fantastic stuff. What a comeback.
And that was the key, wasn't it? He waited and waited. He didn't rush the cross.
I thought he'd waited too long.
Yeah, you're right. As the defenders got closer to him, but he knew what he was doing. He would have seen Justin Clive desperately charging up into the penalty area. Because it was a ball really that Phil Billing probably had no right to really win off the defender. And that's why he didn't have a lot of support, because I think people have thought QPR had the ball. What a turnaround. It's taken the Cherries 21 minutes to score their first goals of their third. And not only wipe out the lead, but turn the game around.
I don't remember them being, it's all one-way traffic for me. I don't remember too much to the other end.
Well, even in the first half, Bournemouth had the majority of the attempts. 10 attempts at half-time, but only 1 on target. But Bournemouth's clinical edge in this second half. The one that was lacking at Spurs, I know we're talking about inferior opposition in terms of league pyramid today, and obviously player quality, but any team that's 2-0 down, to show some credit and come back quickly. And of course we've still got 20 minutes of the game to go, so this one isn't won, but they've got themselves now in the kind of position they had to respond and get themselves into as the Cherries win a goal kick. Some good work by Aarons right over in the far corner. 20 left, less than that now, 19 left, Bournemouth 3-2 up.
Yeah, it's been a good second half performance, no doubt about that. What a pass that is.
Senesi, long diagonal again, out to the far side, and Clive again down the right side of the box to Ryan Christie. Cherries are threatening to put this even further beyond QPR, but despite the protest of the Bournemouth fans behind the goal, the officials there point for a QPR goal kick as Christie challenged for it.
I thought he could have got that one, Ryan, and just clipped it back, but he seemed to want to take another touch on it.
Begovic takes the short goal kick sideways along the 6-yard line here, cleared away up to the halfway line where Tavernier wins the header back pedalling, but only runs loose for Adoma, and now down this right hand side for Armstrong, right side of the penalty area, up against Senesi, who again just opens up a couple of yards on Senesi, and who was the one positioned to clear that inside his own box? Emergency centre half Lewis Cook.
Great first touch as well, wasn't it?
Beautiful bit of control from Cook. Kiefer Moore couldn't hold it up on the halfway line, and QPR with Kakai down this right hand side once again. Alex Scott back defending left side of his own penalty area. QPR have it. Here's Dazelle, who's had a very quiet second half. Andre Dazelle. QPR have got a problem. There's Sam Field is limping around in centre midfield. Here goes Dazelle, driving on inside right to the right, and Adoma flashed across goal, and it's trickled past the post. What a saving challenge came in there from Max Aarons, sliding in the 6-yard box to help divert that past the post, and in fact better than that, it's a goal kick.
A fantastic work by Aarons. I have to say, supporters jumped up right in front of me as the ball flashed across the face of goal, so I didn't see it.
Well, Aarons threw himself in, the striker threw himself in, and the ball rolled past the right-hand post, and Aarons just did enough to put off the advancing striker. And we've got another stoppage here because that injury that Sam Field picked up a minute ago has meant the game has come to a halt and he's having treatment. So QPR 2, Bournemouth 3. Quite the turnaround. We talked about a pretty tepid first 40 minutes, Willow, in terms of the quality. Well,
yeah,
5 goals all of a sudden from in 29 minutes.
Listen, if he could have subbed more at half time if he'd wanted to, but I mean he's gone with a twist. You know, whether Meps is injured or not, we'll have to find out. But the fact that he's put Cookie back to centre half and has had 1 or 2 moments where he's ran out with the ball, 1 or 2 moments where he's been good defensively. But it's just strange to see the wee man there. But you have to say, I'm not sure, apart from Armstrong up front, they haven't had a lot of firepower, I don't think. He's the one who's maybe done most of the donkey work, really. And Senesi's coped with them fairly well. But Cookie's definitely been a nice little acquisition alongside the centre halves. I can't centre midfield to centre half. Yeah, not when you're 5'10", 9, 8. You know.
And Donny Iraola's hat is full of infinite rabbits, it appears. Pulling another one out today.
Absolutely, he does seem to be able to do that, doesn't he?
Yeah. And again, Bournemouth haven't particularly been tested. That was a dangerous attack a minute ago. We still have a delay here because there are changes being made by QPR. Field is not able to continue, he's walked off, or is he able to continue? He's walked off to that far side pretty gingerly, holding his lower back. Maybe he's going to come back on, actually.
30 seconds, hasn't he?
Yeah, but the way he was walking off and the fact there was a sub there ready to come on made me think that his day was done, but maybe Field will come back on. He's a very important player in the QPR midfield. Stoke 2, Brighton 3 elsewhere. 2-3 here as well. Cherries are leading. Whoever says a score is 2-3. Didn't mean to say that. 3-2 Bournemouth lead. Far side, cleared away, hammered down that line by the Cherries up to halfway. Just seen a replay, by the way, a very quick social media replay sent to me by our good friend Neil Perrott, listening in at home. Does look like Kiefer Moore's goal from the one angle you get of that corner, so we'll stick with it and give it to him.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, second goal of the season, scored of course at Palace, one in the Cup, on only his 5th FA Cup start of his career, which is a stat I mentioned earlier on, which is amazing, considering he's 31, but having been first choice at most other places apart from Bournemouth, he's always probably got rested in FA Cup games. I'm talking about his professional career, by the way, not non-league games, as Tavernier knocks it out of play off Adoma. Field is back on, by the way. QPR back to a full strength, but they are going to bring on a sub in just a moment on the far side. Okay, it's not too often our commentary position is on the opposite side to the dugouts. They're bringing on 2 subs, actually. We'll get IDs on those very shortly. Oh, the Cherries bringing on a sub as well over there. Just looking like somebody is sat down getting instructions, but I can't see from this far away who that is. Senesi over the halfway line. 3-2 Bournemouth into the last 15. Long switch out to the right hand side again for the Cherries here. A chance for Sinistera, a chance for Clivert, whipped in towards the back post where Sinistera was coming in and then cleared away by QPR up towards the halfway line by Lakesh, but not a great clearance. And it's back in the centre circle with Senesi.
27's coming on.
Zabani's coming on.
Yeah.
Maybe Lewis Cook's centre half career is only half an hour long. Ball on the left hand side by Senesi, looking for Billing down the left side of the penalty area, heading towards the corner flag. Billing looking for the run of Sinistera. Lovely footwork by Billing. Sinistera just overran it. It's a corner though, as QPR came across on the left hand side.
It'd be a good time to get on now. Get him up there for the corner as well.
I guess it's one of those with Zabani, isn't it? Now you're leading 3-2. Why would you risk playing someone out of position at centre half when you've got a centre half on the bench?
It's at the moment it's job done with it as regards this Cookie going in at centre half.
Yeah. Watford have equalised against Chesterfield to avert what might have been would have been an embarrassing exit at home to a National League team, but the Cherries can tell you all about that. From Boreham Wood, as the ball is with Scott on this left hand side for a corner. Cherries leading 3-2. Scott's corner straight into the hands of Begovic. All the runners had run underneath the ball.
Yeah, good take by Begovic. Seen him do it so many times.
BBC Radio Solent, no game of course next weekend. There won't be a Cherries Unpicked, by the way, this week, unless there's some dramatic transfer developments which we're not expecting. There won't be a Cherries Unpicked, with the Cherries having a blank this weekend. Cherries Unpicked, thank you for all your support with that on BBC Sounds. Downloadable midweek between matches. via BBC Sounds. If you subscribe, it will pop straight into your feed for you as Sinistera tried to win it back for the Cherries on this near side. Southampton have got 4 against Walsall now, 4-0 in their tie. Down this right-hand side come QPR, and out of his penalty area comes Mark Travers to clear it away. QPR take the quick one, trying to catch Travers out of possession. There's 2 balls on the pitch at the moment, and it's going to be cleared away by Senesi. I mean, the 2 balls, Willow, are so close to each other that Marcus Tavernier has kicked one ball off and carried on with the other one. I tell you
what skill that was. I didn't know which one we were playing with.
I don't think he did either. That's amazing bit of officiating to let that carry on. I mean, fair play. It didn't really impact the passage of Marcus Tavernier, but
no.
Back in the day when the ball used to be on the pitch but 90 yards away from where they would stop the game. They would. There, no joke, Marcus Tavernier kicked one ball off, the wrong ball off, and carried on with the right one, and play just carried on.
That'll get a mention in the dispatches tonight for sure.
Now, what about this? Eastleigh, a man sent off in the first half at Newport, have equalised 1-1. Down in South Wales to try and bring in the goal scorer.
Supporters down there apparently.
Tavernier swings the ball in towards Moore here on this penalty spot, who applauds the intention, but it was headed away by Fox for QPR. And now good challenge back by Christie to turn the ball over. He knocks it to the right. Here's Clivert. Cherry's got numbers in the area, threaded towards the near post, but blocked by Fox and out towards the far touchline where Clivert will retrieve. 11 minutes remaining, 3-2 Cherries. They want Billing to shoot. He's going to answer those calls, and he fires it past the right-hand post with Begovic diving.
Yeah, good striking. Got it hard and low. Thought he'd done the keeper on the near post, but just wide.
QPR have had 2 subs stood over there for quite some time, and eventually they are going to come on. So let's see. I haven't seen Zabani come to the fore yet, so Field actually can't continue for QPR. So he's going off, and on is going to come Laurent Talla, who is a Kosovan teenage midfielder. We're in number 41.
I don't think he'll take Cookie off, you know. I think.
Well, he's still sat down to
Scott off and put Cookie in midfield.
Yeah. And the other change is going to see Lyndon Dykes go off, and he's going to be replaced by Kenneth Powell, by the look of it, who is a fullback. So Kenneth Powell is normally a left-sided fullback of Surinamese descent. He's also their joint top scorer with 3 goals from left back. Taken short by QPR, trailing Bournemouth by 3-2 here. Long ball down the field, up towards the halfway line, flicked on by Armstrong, but nobody to receive the flick on. Senesi not with his most convincing pass back to Travers.
Yeah, it's not always ideal to do that, like with the instep.
Yeah, just off the outside of his foot in the end, wasn't it? Miscued it. Little link up between Sinistera and Tavernier. He's had a great game in the second half. Tavernier down the left-hand side, stretching the QPR defence. Dazelle in pursuit. Adoma then dived in. Tavernier just knocked it past him as Adoma charged towards him, but QPR step across and done mopped up.
Showed a real turn of speed there. Tav, fantastic turn of speed.
Cherries have won it back again in midfield. Christie has offered some bite in the second half as well in that midfield.
Listen, they've all turned it round. It's quite a strange thing in many respects because of the way we were the first half to the way we are now in the second half.
Well, Christie and Clivert have come on and offered everything that was lacking in the first half, which is energy and direction. And here's Christie trying to sneak in through midfield. It's going to run actually behind into Clivert on the right side of the penalty area, but it's inspired others in this second half as well. Clivert onto his left foot. Low shot is blocked by Larkesh. Breaks out to Lewis Cook on the far right hand side, halfway inside Rangers territory. Back it comes to Aarons, who was involved in a very important goal line clearance or goal mouth clearance to keep it at 3-2 in Bournemouth's favour. Zabani now has stepped up or stood up from his seated position.
He's gagging to get on, but
yeah, ready to come on. He was sat down with his red and black shirt visible, but just sat on the front row of the bench for quite a while, and now he's going to come on, Ilya Zabani. Lewis Cook in the centre circle, who's done a good job at centre half. We see him drop in there, don't we, in passages of play, but not actually play there.
No, magnificent. The thing is, it's quite a comfort zone for him because he's got more time on the ball than he does have in midfield.
Cherries have passed it around nicely here, and they're still progressing out down this left-hand side with Marcus Tavernier once again. Cherries fans continue to olay, and it runs for Ryan Christie, and the ball across the 6-yard line. Great diving header away by Fox for QPR. Moore was coming in behind him. He had to get something on it, the defender. And now Kenneth Powell on this near side. Back it goes to Dazelle, and Dixon Bonner and QPR have worked it across their penalty area. And Kiefer Moore's just running out a bit of a steam, Willow. He's just...
I think he's holding his calf, his left calf.
That's a bit of a worry for the Cherries. And for Kiefer Moore and for Wales. But QPR have lost it over on the far side. Producer Rob just gave me a goal in my ear, which I missed actually, so I'll get him to repeat that if that's okay. Blackburn 5, Cambridge 2. So Cambridge led in that game, but have been blown away by Rovers. And Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 3. So no upset in that game at Priestfield. As the run being made by Dunn out of defence here. Cherries haven't got this one in the bag yet. They lead 3-2. There are still 7 minutes remaining. Adoma on the right hand side. That's a good ball in. Dangerous ball in. And there's Lewis Cook again. In the 6-yard box at centre half. Sliding in to clear it away. Breaks to the edge of the box. Parle out to this right hand side and Dazelle. Right corner of the penalty. Dixon Bonner down the right side of the box. But looking for Adoma who hadn't made the run. And it goes behind for a Cherries goal kick.
Will he get Zabber on?
He's coming on now. So let's see, and it is Kiefer Moore going off.
Kiefer?
Yep.
Yeah, must to spear. No, he's jogging off, so he's all right.
Yeah, and again, you've got any, number of options you can put up to play as the number 9 here. Let's see who's going to go there.
He'll put Cookie back in midfield in.
Yeah. But
Phil Bill will go up front, will he?
Phil Bill will go up front. There's things you've never heard before. I'm just looking at how it is shaking down. I mean, Phil Billing is the most advanced Cherries player as it stands there now down the middle. Unless they're playing with a sort of classic false 9, kind of nobody really up front. Dropping off, bit of possession, use the wingers. So Zabani's gone on. Lewis Cook has pushed forward. That's an excellent 38-minute stint from Lewis Cook in the centre-half position. He's got a clean sheet as well for him, for his trouble.
Absolutely fantastic.
Stoke 2, Brighton 4 at the Bet 365. Here, QPR 2, Bournemouth 3. Remember Maidstone earlier on in the National League South, upsetting their League One opponent Stevenage by a 0-0. Eddie Howe safely negotiating the Weir Tyne derby. Newcastle won that 3-0. Match of the day tonight, FA Cup match of the day. We'll have all of the action. You can watch it all on the BBC Sport website as well. The video clips, they go up very quickly, the highlights of the games. So have a look and see how this one has panned out. Cherries were 2 behind at half-time through Armstrong and Dykes shortly before the break, but goals from Tavernier, Moore and Clivert after the Cherries made 2 changes at half-time, bringing Christie and Clivert on, have turned this one around. But Bournemouth have still got to see the job through. We've spoken about the Cup being a good opportunity for Bournemouth, given where they've boxed themselves into in the league, and the run made down the middle here by Scott, who was pushing Kenneth Parle, and that will be a free kick to QPR just outside their box.
Yeah, it was a good ball in. Just give him a little shove in the back. Referee was spot on.
Does it change the Cup mentality, Willow, for you, given Bournemouth where they've got themselves to in the league this season, and that there's less worries about the bottom end of the table, and that you can have a go at the Cup?
And do you know what? I just used to love the FA Cup so much. Wherever you are in the league, whether you're top or you're down the bottom, the FA Cup was just a great day to play in. I don't think I've even thought about where we were in the league.
Clivert down that right hand side for Christie. Cherries aren't really playing with a number 9 at the moment. They've just sort of got wingers and Billing moving on from midfield. They haven't really got a centre forward on the field. But leading 3-2, they don't need to score any more goals, just need to stop QPR scoring one. Goes back towards the byline. QPR, oh dear, Fox has taken it behind for a corner. Claimed a free kick desperately. That was poor from QPR. Cherry's going to try and take a quick one here.
They're getting annoyed, some of the QPR supporters around us. They didn't like that bit of action.
But that was just them passing it around sideways. Then a careless bit of control by Morgan Fox. Ran it behind for a corner. Zabani comes forward. He's on the prowl for his first Bournemouth goal. Hasn't been involved yet.
That's one thing you can criticise him for. He's been magnificent, except get a goal.
Well, Senesi's been sort of taking the set-piece headlines from the defenders, isn't he, since his arrival? But Zabani would love to open that Cherries account. He's loitering around the penalty spot. Hull 1, Birmingham 1 in the Cup. In it comes from that far side towards Zabani at the near post. He got the first contact on it, but only a glance into a cluster of bodies and brought away by Armstrong down this near side. Cook in pursuit again. Aarons is the last line of defence. Lewis Cook dives in with a challenge on Armstrong. That will be a yellow card for Lewis Cook, who's already been booked, Willow. This is a problem. Lewis Cook's got a second yellow card coming out here. And Rebecca Welch, the referee. Oh, I thought Lewis Cook had already been booked. That's a yellow card. The yellow card earlier must have gone to somebody else then in the crowd of players below, because I've written down here, Cook booked.
You've done me a treat.
Well,
there.
I've done everybody a treat. Apologies. There we go.
It wasn't it. I think he went for the ball. It just didn't quite go the way he'd planned.
Well, Lewis Cook definitely gets a yellow card for that. No doubt about that down this near side. Just shows you where I wasn't even any doubt. I just wrote Cook booked earlier on in a cluster of players, but obviously he wasn't, because he would have been sent off. So QPR have got a free kick here. We've got 2.5 minutes to play, and it's Bournemouth leading by 3-2 in the FA Cup. It was Aarons who got the yellow card earlier on. I'm just double checking my notes. So ball on this near side with QPR. It's 5 yards in from the right hand touchline, about 35 yards from goal. Parle, his left foot, is going to whip this one in. Travers comes and gets 2 good fists on it and punches it away out to the touchline.
Excellent, absolutely top draw. 2 fists on it, out for a throw-in.
Referee has just stopped the restart there, Rebecca Welch, for some reason. Wrong place, so they're going to make the sub. What's happening here? Everything's stopped. It's going to be a QPR throw, but eventually we restart. So Phil Billings going off, and we're going to see a Bournemouth debut here for the 18-year-old striker Dan Adewale.
Great.
Coming on wearing number 51, who actually grew up typically or topically in the FA Cup. Well, he grew up in Wembley.
Oh, couldn't get any better.
He's been on the bench 4 times, Dan Adewale, in the first team, and he's on for the first time, the academy striker who's been in great form. So brilliant to see one of the Cherries academy products, who actually has spent time in West London with the clubs around here, Brentford and Fulham as well. So I imagine he might have some friends and family in the stadium today. And on comes the Cherries' new number 51, Adewale. Can he get himself an FA Cup goal? He's already got a touch, and he's lost it, unfortunately, inside the Cherries' half. He's trying to win it back up towards the halfway line. It was Billing who went off. Did I mention that? I think I did, and that's an overhit ball by QPR and out for a goal kick. We're into the 90th and final minute then, with what will be added on, and the Cherries at the moment heading for the 4th round, but not without a little bit of a fright.
Just like to see Dan get a touch of the ball and just give us a little taste of what we've got to come from the youngster.
What gave you a bigger fright today, Willow? Cherries being 2-0 down, on me saying that Lewis Cook was about to be sent off, but he wasn't.
But that was the worst. Lewis Cook was worst.
Cleared away by Travers in the Cherries' goal. Down the field it comes, looking for Sinistera on this near side, but it goes straight out of his head and over his head and out for a throw-in on this near side. I've just been told as well by a very interesting stat by Neil Perrott that Dan Adewale's mentor is Tony Yeboah, the former Leeds striker.
Really?
Zabani over the top, looking for Adewale, down the middle, jumps with Dunn. Cherries fans thought he was pushed in the back, but referee Welch didn't, and then the ball overhit down this right hand side, looking for a Doma by Parle, but straight out for a throw. 7 minutes added.
Plenty of time to see Dan get the ball.
We said these the home fans probably only about 2/3 full in terms of the high ticket prices today, and not big name opposition for QPR to come and watch today, and given the form they're in, as they look over the top, the Cherries. Sinistera is chasing over this one, trying to catch Kakai, but in the end it's all the way through to Begovic. Bowls it out straight down the field to Albert Adoma, has to go back to his goalkeeper. Stay with us for all the reaction between 5 and 6. Are Eastleigh going to get a replay with 10 men against Newport? Southampton are going through, Portsmouth are behind in the league, and the Cherries at the moment heading for the 4th round as well, as Aarons knocks it down the right hand side, looking for Clivert, flicks it on, looking for Adewale in the penalty area, challenging for it over on the right hand side, trying to hold it up in front of the Cherry supporters. He's got it.
Good strength.
Can he win a corner? He's won a free kick. Yep. Perfect stuff from Dan Adewale.
Nice 2 touches there. First one on his chest to hold him off, and then just waited for him to go through the back of him. Wins the free kick. Great stuff.
Ball over in that far corner, and Cherries are going to throw Senesi and Zabani forward for this, because of course they've only got a 1-goal advantage, and with still 6 minutes of added time to go, it's not quite keep it in the corner time. If you can score a 4th and put the game beyond doubt, take the chance to do that, and they're going to throw men forward to do it.
I'm just looking at Scotty there. There's an opportunity for him to strike the ball.
There is at the top of the box, but he's just been spotted, yeah. You mentioning it alerted QPR.
Must have heard me.
Tavernier's got it. Alex Scott is still loitering just out to the right of the D on the edge of the penalty area, but Tavernier's going to try and whip this in and try and get a touch off somebody in a very, very congested 6-yard box. 3-2 Bournemouth, 5 minutes of added time to play here at Loftus Road.
What about Cookie shooting?
And it comes from Tavernier with some whip on it, and it grazes off the top of the bar in the end from Marcus Tavernier and behind.
Wow, it didn't threaten anyone, but it did clip the top of the crossbar.
They had whip and bend and swerve and dip and everything on it, but not quite enough to dip it under the bar. QPR in possession down on this near side. Up to the halfway line it goes. Tavernier puts it out of play, and Adoma tries to take a quick throw in for QPR, who can still see that with only one goal in this game, only takes a moment of magic or a mistake, and their cup hopes of staying in the competition can be retained. The 1982 FA Cup finalists, and they lost in a replay to Spurs. Ball on this near side, like young fan behind us, urging QPR to get on with it, trailing 3-2. Bournemouth at the moment scrapping around in their own half, trying to win it, and then a challenge by Sinistera has left Kakai on the floor, and QPR will get another chance here to send the centre-halves forward to throw one in from a free kick wide out.
Yeah, well, we've got Zabber on now. We should be a little bit more secure in the aerial battle.
And there's the other reason to bring him on, isn't it? At the end, if they are flying set pieces in, why would you have your 6'3" centre-half sat on the bench when you could have him on the field for these closing stages? So free kick similar to the last position, where Mark Travers came out, commanded his box and punched it away. It's going to be swung in from this right-hand side by QPR, searching a late equaliser here to send the game to a possible replay. It's going to be swung in again by Parle. This one is flatter and closer to Travers, and no problems for the goalkeeper. It goes straight to him.
No, that is desperately disappointing from a QPR viewpoint, right through to the keeper. Some groans around us here, the QPR fans.
3 minutes remaining on BBC Radio Solent as Senesi goes for the long ball over towards Justin Kluivert, who's got a goal for his trouble for coming on. Ado Ajayi again scrapping around trying to win it back over on that far side, and Christie has it down that far touchline. Setting off on a run is Kluivert. Across goes the defender Fox to get there ahead of him. And Fox clears it away left-footed, but out of play, and it'll be a Cherries throw.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Dan can get a strike at goal or something that he can remember the game by. Often when you make your debut or early on in your career, the things seems to flash you by.
And these are the little moments in their season, aren't they? And again, Bournemouth staying in the cup gives them possibly more of those moments to some of these players, including Dan.
Yeah, a chance for later on as well for more youngsters, which everybody wants to see.
Of course, the Cherries looking to build their academy and getting more and more talent coming through it with the infrastructure, as Alex Scott down the left-hand side, and of course the new academy facilities at the new training ground as well will help attract a few of the better players. As Doma has it on this right-hand side, just over 2 minutes of the 7 added remaining on this near touchline. A ball driven in from the right-hand side, but there's Lewis Cook again inside the penalty area. And out to this near side where Tavernier plays it up to halfway. Ado Ajayi can't quite hold off the attentions of Dunn this time.
Yeah, got to be a bit stronger in that sort of position.
Ryan Christie comes, arms pumping out of midfield to close them down, QPR, but they found Adoma again down this right-hand side, and then still have it Rangers on this near touchline. There's Tavernier, who really has put in a shift, Marcus Tavernier. Up towards halfway, where Ado Ajayi can't quite get his foot on it again, and it's back to QPR in their own half. 90 seconds remaining in the FA Cup on BBC Radio Solent. QPR 2, Bournemouth 3. Cherries were 2 down. Adoma down this right-hand side. This time across comes the run of Parle. Turns away, Kakai still scrapping away. There are QPR players on the floor, and again the Cherries conceded a third free kick, almost in an identical spot. Right-hand side, chance to swing one in. They take it quickly this time. Parle down the right side of the box to Adoma. Adoma hangs one up to the back post. It's beyond all of those coming in blue and white. Still QPR have it as we enter the final minute of the 7 added on here. Ado Ajayi cuts down a ball forward down that far side. QPR still have it. Across goes Aarons, putting his body in, and Aarons did enough there, and QPR have taken it out of play, and Bournemouth will have a throw in deep inside their own half. 45 seconds left.
Yeah, good work by Aarons there. Just kept them at bay. Wouldn't have. This is a throw in, isn't it, over there?
Throw in, yeah, deep inside the Cherries' own half. Well, we've got a 2-week break to come after this game, as we say. In fact, more than 2 weeks, isn't it? Because they play Liverpool on Sunday, so they've actually got 15 days until their next game. Next weekend, a blank weekend as part of the Premier League's winter break, where half the team have one weekend off and half the teams have the other. And QPR have got one last chance here. They've won a free kick on the far side, and Asmir Begovic is going forward, Willow.
Yeah, Begovic coming up.
Has goal-scoring form, of course, Asmir Begovic from his Stoke days. And he's gone onto the edge of the penalty area here. So QPR 2, Bournemouth 3. This will be the last play of the game, you would think, as QPR have got everybody on the edge of the penalty area. One last set play to be delivered by Dazelle for out on the left-hand side for QPR. Begovic in his pink goalkeeping shirt is ducking and weaving and trying to find a bit of chaos in there. Hooked in towards the box, Begovic coming, but Mark Travers rives above his old goalkeeping colleague, and that is the last action of the game. As Bournemouth, I'm going to say safely, let's just say eventually, secure their passage through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. They had to work, they dug themselves into a very deep hole at half-time as goals from Sinclair Armstrong and Lyndon Dykes had Rangers 2 up. Bournemouth flat in the first half, having made 7 changes, but they were level after 13 minutes of the second half, having thrown Christie and Clivert on at half-time, Tavernier and then Kiefer Moore with the equaliser, heading in Alex Scott's corner. The winner came from some great work by Phil Billing, who used his strength to win the ball, squared it for Justin Clivert to tap home for 3-2, and in the end saw it out pretty comfortably, Willow, but they had to recover from a poor first half.
Oh, the first half was not good at all, but what he did is the changes he made, and a master stroke of putting Cookie back at centre half so he could run the ball out of defence was absolutely magnificent. So you know that Andoni has got something up his sleeve every time. We're in cup situations. This is not the first time he's pulled one out of the bag, and Cookie was absolutely magnificent. So I'm sure everybody's going to be well pleased when you see that tonight.
More to come from John Williams after 5 with Jordan here on BBC Radio Solent. Your reaction as well at Solent Sport, and you can WhatsApp us 08000 321 333 as well. The stewards just having to clear a red smoke flare the Cherries have thrown onto the field so their players can come and thank the supporters. 2,800 or so have made the journey from the south coast today. Eventually they got what they wanted, but not without a bit of sweat. It finished here at Loftus Road. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 3.
This is BBC Radio Solent Sport.